intro. Live from the Emerald City in Seattle, Washington, the UFO, Bigfoot, and paranormal hotspot of the Pacific Northwest. Coming directly to you, listening in around the world, this, my friends, is Spaced Out Sunday. I am your host, Michael W. Hall, the paranormal lawyer, occupying the captain's chair tonight for SOR headquarters. We welcome you to tonight's show, including all of our listeners on the digital side at Revolution Radio. And don't forget, you can always find out or watch our archived shows for free on youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Just do us all a favor and hit that subscribe button. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you, including rocking out to some Bumblefoot, shopping at our Spaced Out Radio store, and catching up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire, and so much more. Tonight's show is brought to you by Chive Charities. Help make the world 10% happier by donating to Chive Charities today. You can find them on our website. And oh, do we have a holiday extravaganza for you tonight, folks, on Spaced Out Sunday. Of course, we've got our good buddy Peter Davenport from the National UFO Reporting Center coming on for the first half hour doing sighting reports. And we have a special guest on our show with Peter tonight, initially called Marty Manetto. And we're going to have Marty come on to tell us a little bit about his historic sightings that he has had of, get this, UFOs and aliens. Oh, yeah. We've got, of course, our main guest coming on later on is the paranormal pastor, Reverend Sean Whittington. Our favorite paranormal pastor will be on talking about the paranormal during the holidays. And the rock legend, ladies and gentlemen, Michael Falzarano is with us. Can you imagine that? The new Riders of the Purple Sage. Oh, the Grateful Dead. We've got some Christmas music from rock and roll eras that you're going to believe, plus a brand new album from the New Riders that we're going to give you and show you as well. Of course, my co-host tonight is my producer, Mark Eddy. Mark is joining us as well because he has got some expertise in rock and roll Christmas and the history that we're going to talk about here in that regard. The Grateful Dead, Jerry Garcia, the writers, New Riders of the Purple Sage. So first of all, let me bring Mark, my co-host, on. Are you there, buddy?
I am here.
Okay, make sure you talk up loud there, buddy, on your end, and let me test your volume. Say something again.
Thanks for letting me co-host tonight.
Wonderful. Okay, you're right there. Peter, are you there?
I'm here. Can you hear me, Michael?
I can hear you loud and clear. Let's go to Marty and see if Marty is here and he can hear us.
I am here. Thank you.
Wonderful. Okay, Marty, hang on. We'll see if Michael can hear us as well. Falzarano, are you there?
I am here, and I can hear you loud and clear.
Oh, wow. Here we go, boys. Okay. And girls.
Let's rock.
Let's do it. Okay, Peter, let me do this and have you initially introduce our special guest, Marty Manetto.
Yeah, I'm delighted to do so, and I'm really grateful to Marty for making himself available tonight for this program. As you know, Michael, you and I have conspired to have an interesting witness to a UFO event appear on your program rather than having the audience listen to my monotone drivel. But Marty called the UFO hotline on Friday the 11th of December, and he and I had a wonderful conversation about a sighting he had. He estimates it was 1955 in Colorado, I believe, but I don't want to take too much of his fire here. and I thought he would make a wonderful guest for this program. So I called him tonight and clarified last-minute details, and during that conversation tonight, Sunday, I discovered, to my great surprise and delight, that he is a former U.S. Navy aviator. He used to fly Phantoms and F-14 Tomcats, and he has, it turns out, two very interesting UFO-related events to share with us. So with that, I'd like to just turn it over to him and let him share with our audience what he saw together with his grandfather back in 1955, 65 years ago. So the floor is yours, Marty.
Thank you very much. I'm happy to do this. I'm doing it for one reason, that I've had this secret for 65 years. I have become very ill, and I have a cancer, and I wanted to let people know now that declaration that what happened to me is true. In 1955, I was with my grandfather, Samuel Johnson, and we were at his farm. And after breakfast, he asked me if I'd like to go for a walk. I said, yeah, I loved my grandpa. I'd do anything with him. And we left the farm, and we were walking up the dirt road by the fence line headed north. And all of a sudden, I heard this whooshing sound, and directly in front of us on the dirt road, this long, slender cylinder landed and set right down. And my grandpa picked me up off the ground and into his arms. And I said, Grandpa, I remember, look at this, what is it? And he said, be quiet, it'll be okay. And we walked up, and it was a pinkish, white, long cylinder. And right up towards the front, it opened up. And this man stepped out. He looked Caucasian. He had blonde hair, blue eyes, and he was wearing a white shirt and pants with brown shoes. And I was really getting a little nervous, and my grandpa said, don't worry, it is going to be okay. And he set me back down on the ground, holding my hand. And this man walked up to my grandfather, and the only thing I could think at that time was, this is the biggest guy I've ever seen. He's taller than my grandpa. My grandpa was 5'11", and this man must have been 7 feet tall. And that's the truth. He walked up straight to my grandfather. They said some things to each other, and then he said, come with us. Well, I thought they were going to leave me out there on the dirt road. My grandfather picked me up, and then we walked into this long cylinder. I was amazed. I wasn't scared. All I could do was look around and see what's going on. And my grandfather then set me down inside, and he says, you stay right here, don't move, I'll be right back. And I said, well, who is this guy who my grandpa knows? They walked down this hallway and turned to their left and disappeared. And yet, I saw these other beings, but they were not like this gentleman. They were, I'd say now, because I've gotten older in life, and I was rectangular, but I say they were about 4 to 5 feet tall. They were wearing a dark, skin type thing. And they would walk out and look down at me. I looked at, but they never approached me. And they would walk down the hallways and disappear into different areas. I started getting a little worried because I hadn't seen my grandpa. About the time I was going to go look for him, he stepped out with that gentleman, and they came down and he picked me up. And they said a couple things to each other, and then I asked the gentleman, I said, where are you from? And he said, here. And I said, really? You are here says, here. And he said, here. He says, something to my grandfather. When they talked, it sounded like Norwegian or Swedish or something like that, because my grandpa came here from Sweden. So that's why it was kind of interesting to me that I thought I could understand a little bit. He took me and my grandpa down this hallway straight ahead, and we stopped. He turned to the left, and on the wall is something like the TV you see today, the flat screen. And he put his hand upon it and started to move his fingers over. Several things kind of started to appear on it, and then before you know it, our Earth appeared. I didn't realize that was our Earth that what we lived on at the time. I was only 5 years old. And he said, here. And I said, here where? And he pointed to our Earth. And then he took his finger and he moved it all the way down to Antarctica. Here. And I said, he's from the bottom of this thing. I didn't know it was Antarctica at the time. I wasn't in school. But as years passed, I started to understand what he was trying to tell me. This cylinder, these people, were from Antarctica. After the grandpa let him talk for another minute, we turned and walked down the hall, out the door, and we walked down the road just a little ways. The gentleman re-entered the ship. It closed up and made this ooh noise, and that was about it. And it was gone in a heartbeat. It no sooner went up into the air a few feet, and it just was gone. And my grandpa set me back down on the ground, and he knelt down and looked into my face. I remember this. He said, Marty, never, please, never tell any of your family or anyone what happened to me. You'll regret it the rest of your life. Please, when you get older, I'll tell you what happened. Please, don't tell anyone. I loved my grandpa so much. I kept that secret for 65 years until tonight. I know now there's other living entities in this world. In 1967, I joined the U.S. Navy. I went through all the training that they could possibly give me to learn to be a naval aviator. In 1977, I was flying an F-14 Tomcat at Yankee Station, 200 miles west of Hanoi, Vietnam. My computer, which was a Rio, was working on the radar. He called me on the intercom and says, we've got something coming up on our 6 very fast. I then called back to the ship, and they told me not to worry, try to get an identity on this item. No sooner did we finish talking, I was at 27,000 feet. I was doing about 350 knots. And this thing came right up on my port side wing. And it was probably about 1.5 times the size of my aircraft. My backseater was in a panic, wondering what it was. I had no idea. It went over the top of my aircraft with no problem onto my starboard side. Blew it up a little bit. I tried to get away from it, and I rolled in my port, and I took a nosedive like you wouldn't believe. It stayed right with me. I was in contact with my ship. I told them I had a bogey, and what should I do? They told me they were sending another aircraft up to join me. Just stay with it. At about 15,000 feet, I leveled off, it leveled off. And again, come up right in front of my aircraft, right on the nose. No matter what I did, this thing stayed with me. It was a brilliant orange, and it changed colors from brilliant orange to a white color and back to a very low color of the sun. And that's what came across through my mind. And I was scared. I had no idea what this thing was. And then as the other aircraft in my carrier battle group approached and we started talking, it took off at such a high rate of speed, just blinking your eyes, it was gone. And I never saw that thing again. I was ordered back to the ship and I landed. As I taxied over and parked my aircraft, I raised my canopy and I saw two short patrol and an officer walk up to my aircraft. I was ordered down and into the CIC, Combat Information Center. As we walked into the room, there were several other officers, the captain of my ship, and they told me to sit down. They asked me to explain in detail what had happened. I told them everything I knew. And then these two men in civilian clothes came into the room. They had a piece of paper, and they said, "You'll never, ever speak to any other naval aviators, anyone on the ship. If you do, you will be taken into custody, and you could spend the rest of your life in Leavenworth." I was shaking. I just said something I didn't understand, and I was being threatened by the people I work for, the government, the Navy. They took Dan and I and separated us, told us to write out what exactly happened to the best of my memory, and if we could draw a diagram. I did as I was instructed, and then they gave me a piece of paper that was already filled out and told me to sign it, and that was a declaration that I would never, ever speak of this to anyone again, and not even to my backseater. And at that point, we were allowed to go back to our rooms where we slept in that, and that was the end of it. I never, ever told anybody until tonight. 65 years ago, it all started on me.
Marty, Marty, this is amazing. By the way, just right off the top of my head here, were you and your backseater immediately separated as far as your service goes at that point?
Yes, we were.
I figured that. Okay. Oh my word, Marty. First of all, before we start into you, thank you so much for your service. This is just amazing. And the ability now for you to come forth and share this information with us is so timely during what's going on right now with disclosure around the world. But how do you feel now that you've done this after 65 years, been able to get this off your chest? How do you feel?
I feel wonderful. Now, I'm sorry, when you have something inside you that you have to hold, it is impairment. It cost me all my life just agony because I couldn't say anything. And now it feels like a ton has been lifted off my shoulders.
Oh, God bless you. How about your wife? How about your kids? Had anybody else been able to, have you shared this with anyone else?
No, I with the way we are today in the world, I would thought if I told my children, even though they love me, and that I believe it would have really hurt our family. And I didn't want to have them think I was crazy.
Yeah.
And I kept that secret.
Oh, my word, Peter. I've got billions of questions, but I'm going to allow you to do the lead here on what you think we need to know about next.
Well, you've done a fascinating job, a wonderful job, Marty, of sharing your account of those two episodes. I have a zillion questions like Michael, but the first one that comes to mind, the first incident in 1955, that was in Colorado, am I correct?
Yes, it was outside of Greeley. We called it Eaton and Alt, Colorado. There were two little towns, and my grandfather's farm was between those two towns. He was a dairy farmer.
Yeah. The surprising thing to me about your grandfather's behavior is he was so equanimical about seeing an alien in a spaceship. From your description, he seemed inclined to cooperate with them than anything else, almost as if he may have seen it on a prior occasion. Have you thought about that at all, and what are your thoughts?
My thoughts are that my grandfather somehow, some way, had met these people or these entities a long time ago. Because often, during the years, as time went by when I was young, he would always go for a walk by himself. And he always told us he was out checking the fence line to make sure the cattle couldn't get out when they were done milking and things. And I believe now, deep in my heart, somehow, some way, he knew these people.
Yeah. And with respect to the second episode you described, your flight in an F-14, how much time elapsed, would you say, between the moment you first laid eyes on that bogie and your return to the ship?
It was 26 minutes.
Yeah. It makes me wonder how they did.
For 26 minutes.
It seems odd that
when they pulled the area gate from, because I turned on my gun camera, and it showed the ship that was in front of me, and CIC, they brought it in and ran it, and it was 26 minutes.
Huh.
Oh my, Peter, we're talking gun camera footage here, Marty?
Yes.
Oh my.
I wanted some proof of what was going on, and I instinctively turned on my camera. It hangs right underneath the nose of the F-14.
And of course, were you able to see that gun camera footage yourself later on, or you just heard that it was 26 minutes?
No, they should. We got to see it, because they kept asking us these 2 million civilian crews. Is this it? Is this what's happening? Yes, sir. I kept telling, yes, that's it. That's what we saw. And then when it ran out, he turned it off and handed it to another officer, and that was the last we ever saw.
Oh my goodness. And what did it look like, Marty, as far as you can describe to us?
I'd say it was totally round, like the sun, to give you an idea. But it was about twice the size of my aircraft. And my aircraft was 55 tons. That's a lot of weight. And that thing moved more slicker than I could fly my aircraft. When I dived and turned, trying to get away from it, it stayed right with me, like it was glued to my aircraft.
So this was like a golden orb, like the sun, or was this a disc?
Yeah, it was, and it would get real dark, orange, and then when it wanted to move away, it would turn brilliant yellow. And I had to pull down from my helmet my glasses, so it wouldn't hurt my eyes. That's how bright that thing was.
Good grief.
Oh my word.
Fascinating story, Marty, and you've done a magnificent job of sharing it clearly with our audience tonight, and I'm immensely grateful to you.
You're more than welcome.
Marty, would you consider writing this up or having someone help you draft your experiences in writing for more detail than what you've put on to the National UFO Reporting Center? This is a subject matter of a book of its own, it sounds like.
I'm doing that right now. I have a lady from my church. She is taking shorthand, and I'm giving her everything that I can remember. And she's writing it down. And the gentleman that I talked to the first time, I told him I would be sending it to him as soon as possible.
Fantastic. If there's anything that we can do here, please let Peter know, and we will help you in any way we can. Get your thing published. That's wonderful.
You're more than welcome. I'll do whatever I can.
Well, we have to, unfortunately, take a break now at the bottom of the hour. Oh, my word, you guys. There is stuff going on right now with this show that just kind of I can feel it. Everybody around the world that's listening to this show right now have their mouths wide open. Oh, wow. We're going to take a break and come right back. Marty, it's up to you whether you want to hang on and listen to us and maybe be a part of the next half hour or not. But we will be right back, folks, after this commercial break with Spaced Out Sunday in just a moment. Oh, my word.
Hey, Spaced Out Radio fans. It's John Resnick, founder of the Chive and Chive Charities. Our goal is to make the life of veterans, first responders, and those with rare medical conditions 10% happier. We do this by donating one grant item, ranging from dance to therapy programs to prosthetic limbs, to those who need it most. To contribute to Spaced Out Radio's official charity, head over to chivecharities.org and become a donor today.
I'm feeling a little spicy tonight. What to do?
Why not get Bumblefuck?
4 million Scoville units of pure hard rock. Bumblefoot hot sauces come in 3 flavors. The burning Bumble. Tone it down a bit with Bumblicious and throw the sauce on everything.
Spice it up. Bumble me, baby. Bumblefoot hot sauce. Get it today at kajans.com.
At spacedoutradio.com, we are keeping you up to date on all the news with the SOR Newswire. Captain Shirk leads the team that is bringing you the news of the day and exclusive stories on everything paranormal and supernatural. It's free to read, it's updated daily, and it's right there for you. The SOR Newswire is a one-stop shop for the news of the day. Check it out at spacedoutradio.com today.
Are you looking for great advertising value for your company? Look no further than Spaced Out Radio. We have a multitude of places to get your name out there, including commercial ads during the show, special promotions, and banners on our website. Our audience is proven to support the companies that support our show. We can make your budget work for you. So for more information, please contact us at sales@spacedoutradio.com.
Hey everybody, the SOR Space Travelers is open. For just $5 a month, you can hang out with Dave and our crew privately in our members-only section. With your signing, you'll receive newsletters on what's going on with Spaced Out Radio. You'll have direct contact with the host during the show in our chat, live streaming videos, and a great forum for your posts and more. Become a space traveler now at spacedoutradio.com.
Are you addicted to the woo? Good. Me too. This is Dave Scott, and you can woo it up with me every Monday through Friday, starting at 9:06 Pacific, 12:06 a.m. Eastern, for 3 hours of great entertainment in the subjects you love. UFOs, ghosts, cryptids, intuition. Yes, we hit it all 5 days a week. Look for us at spacedoutradio.com, where together, my friends, we own the night.
You wanted new SOR gear, and now you can have it. The SOR Vault is fully stocked with t-shirts, hats, hoodies, mugs, and everything in between, with great logos for you to choose from. So head on over to spacedoutradio.com, click on the SOR Vault, and go shopping. Pricing is quite affordable, and you can look good representing your favorite show. So go to our website and pick up your new SOR wear at the SOR Vault today.
Need that weekend supernatural fix? Look no further than Spaced Out Saturday right here at spacedoutradio.com. I'm Stacey Edwards.
And I'm John Edwards. Each Saturday night, Stacey and I are going to bring you the best in paranormal, cryptids, UFOs, you name it, and we're going there.
It's all about the experience and to share the knowledge with all of you.
So tune us in every Saturday night on Spaced Out Saturdays, starting at 9:06 p.m. Pacific, 12:06 a.m. Eastern, only at spacedoutradio.com.
From the heartlands of Canada to beards around the world, we know how to take care of you. Fill your follicles with the Mighty Moose Beard Oil. All our oils and balms are handmade and 100% natural ingredients because we care about your beard. And hey, use the promo code SOR2019 and get your Mighty Moose Beard Oil today. You can check us out on our website, mightymoosebeard.com.
We're adding to the entertainment online for Spaced Out Radio. I'm Amber Beckard, and I want to invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel and check out Cryptid Tales, where I will take you on a journey into some of the strangest legends and lore from around the world, relaying the stories to you of the strange creatures and experiences that people have had throughout time. You can find Cryptid Tales at youtube.com/spacedoutradio. And while you're there, don't forget to check out our free archives and leave a comment. See you there.
Cold drinks, great food, and the best music in Vancouver. The Moose Vancouver is the place to be, open until 2 a.m. nightly. Everything on the menu starts at just $6.95. Who serves food that cheap anymore? At the Moose, you'll never know who you'll run into. Rock stars, actors, athletes. It's the place everyone wants to be. So join us at the Moose Vancouver, the official party bar of Spaced Out Radio.
Hello everyone, this is Ryan Stacy from the Experiencer Support Association, otherwise known as TESSA. We're glad to team up with Spaced Out Radio to help investigate your experiences on the SOR Sightlines Report. Together, we'll investigate the strange sightings and occurrences you've had. We're looking for answers just like you. So fill out a Sightlines report on the Spaced Out Radio website and let's figure out what's going on together.
Oh my word, folks. Welcome back to Spaced Out Sunday. I am just scrambling here in the studio trying to put everything together on what we should do for the next segment of the show. And let's bring everyone back on here. Peter Davenport, are you there?
I'm still here with you, Michael.
Oh my gosh, I'm in shock, Peter. Literally. My co-host, Mark Eddy, are you with us, buddy?
I'm here.
Okay, good, Mark. Thank you. And Michael Falzarano, the rock and roll legend, are you there?
Here and accounted for.
Can you imagine what we just heard, Michael?
No, I couldn't. That was a great story.
Oh, my word.
Got nothing to add to that.
Well, I think what we're going to do here, we literally still have Marty on the line. Marty, can you hear us?
Yes, I can.
Okay, I thought we would take a few moments just to debrief, Peter. I'm going to throw it to you right now, see if there's anything you want to do to wrap up Marty's segment before we go to basically Michael Falzarano's segment next. But yeah, why not? I mean, we can't let this go without saying a few more words to Marty if we can.
Yeah, thank you for that, Michael. Wonderful job, Marty. You did a superb job. Eloquent, well organized, just exactly what I was hoping for. And but you said something early on in your description of the sighting of that object from your aircraft. You said you were 200, I presume, nautical miles west of Hanoi. Did you have to fly over Vietnam to get back to your ship?
No, we were over the water. We were a cap mission. I carried orders on my aircraft in case any units called for a broken arrow or something like that. I would have just minutes to get there and do whatever I had to do to drop my orders, and then we get back to the ship. But at that time, I did not fly over Hanoi.
But if you were 200 miles west of Hanoi, you were west of North Vietnam. And your ship, I presume, was south or east of Vietnam. Is that the case?
It was at Yankee Station. We had two battle groups, one at Yankee Station and one south called Dixie Station.
I see. So how far from your aircraft carrier where you ultimately landed that day were you when you first saw these objects?
I was approximately 135 nautical miles of my ship.
Mm-hmm. Boy, that must have been a fascinating experience. Have you ever talked about UFOs with other Navy pilots?
You might want to say that again, Peter.
Have you ever discussed the subject of UFOs with your fellow Navy pilots, or were you just totally mute on the subject after this incident?
When we were separated, I did not know where he went. We were very good friends, but I never heard from Dan again.
Have you ever thought about trying to find your backseater again later in life?
Yes, I did. He lived in Ironwood, Michigan. He was a sportsman that took people out on the boat that I guess he owned to do fishing and that. But Danny passed away from cancer.
Oh,
I lost him.
do you remember his name?
Oh, yeah. His last name was Danny Minkin, and he lived in Ironwood, Michigan.
Did you say Dan Minkin?
That's it. M-I-N-K-I-N.
I'm just...
My backseater was my monkey. And because I would do things just to get our mind off of what we were doing. I would flip the air back upside down when he started to use box wrench. And then I'd ride it again. And he'd slap me in the back of the head. we did things that I guess were out of the ordinary.
Yeah. That was back in when your backseater was literally right behind you and could actually punch you in the back of the head, right?
Yeah, that's exactly right. We were very, very close and good friends. We had flown together for approximately 3 years before this incident.
Now, you obviously knew that he passed away, so was there any contact with you later in life then, between the two of you?
No, I did not know where he went, and the only way that I found out where he was at, I paid online at the time a company, they asked for $25, and I gave them all the information I had about him, and they found him. And when I contacted his wife, her name was Bonnie, she then had told me that he had prostate cancer and he passed away.
Oh, my word. Okay, I don't know if Mark has any questions or if even Michael has any questions. Let's just throw it open right now for a minute or so. Anybody else have any follow-up?
The 7-foot-tall stature is something that really stands out from the childhood experience.
Yes, and obviously that was the only tall person you saw, Marty. Everyone else was either the short people or that was it, huh?
Yes, the gentleman that greeted my grandfather was the only one at the time, and the others on the aircraft, as I could look down the hall and stuff, were different sized little beings, and they seemed to be really busy doing things. And just one at that one time, he walked out from the left side of the aircraft and stood there for a minute and looked down at me, and I looked back at him, and I thought, wow, that's a real kid. And that's all I could think at the time, and then he turned and walked away.
Is there any description you can give us, Marty, of those little kids? What do their faces, heads, bodies look like?
What I noticed and can recall now is they didn't have a nose like us, but you could make out a kind of a small little bump. And they had a small little mouth, but their eyes had, I could refer to as oblong black on each side. They didn't have no hair on their heads, and they didn't have any ears. And I thought, how unusual for these little kids. That's all think of at the time that they were just kids. And they had long arms. I didn't, see their hands. I never got to see that. I was fixed on their face. And their legs were kind of thin. And their clothing covered their feet. It was like one full suit that you stepped in, like if you're going to go skin diving. That's what I can only bring back to memory. They were wearing like skin diving type clothes because it covered their whole bodies from their neck down.
And what color was it?
There's some look to be green, some look to be a darker color. They kind of differentiate in color. But all I can think about that, I want to go see this kid. But yet I was told to stay right where I was at, not to move. And I did as my grandfather told me.
And did you have any communication between yourself and these little kids at all? Did you hear anything or feel anything from them?
No, I waved at them and that, but that's all I did. I really didn't wave back or anything. They were probably busy doing something. I think, as I look back, they've probably seen people like us before, so it didn't bother them. You know, it was okay. But they stayed away from it.
But they did acknowledge that that they saw you?
Yes. The one that stopped in the hallway and looked down at me, he stood there for a few minutes, and his head went back and forth, and he kind of bent over just a little bit, and I think that probably lasted a few minutes, and then he turned to his left and walked up the hallway and was gone.
And when that being did that, can you explain what those eyes looked like in a little bit more detail? Tell me what the eyes looked like.
They were dark, very dark, like they had on sunglasses. I couldn't see their pupils or anything, but they were big. That's the thing that amazed me. I thought about what they were wearing. I never saw anything like that. But their eyes were really big. And they started at the front of the forehead and almost went right around to the side of the forehead and to a point. And then as they came back, the eye widened. They had big eyes.
And about the size of their heads? Tell me about that.
Half the size of their head, I'd say.
Okay, but tell me the size of their heads compared to their body.
Yeah, the one I looked at, his head was about the size of a soccer ball.
In comparison to his body, would that have been oversized?
It was big. The neck, I remember, was, if you had a sausage, if you had a round sausage, a pepperoni or something like that, that's what kind of that went right down to his shoulder and wasn't very tall. And yet that head set on something like that. He didn't have a big neck.
Yeah. And how did they move? Did you notice that they moved in any kind of motion that was unique?
Just like me. They walked, they had knees, I believe, because they were able to walk away.
Okay. And one last question about the tall gentleman. Did he have to bend down to stand up inside this cylinder, or was it large enough that he could stand up straight, 7 feet tall?
It was he could stand up straight. He didn't have to bend over or anything. He had his shirt on that went slit, kind of went down towards his belly button, and then he had, like, best I can describe it, these strings that were moving through it, and they hung down on both his right and left side, like you could tie them into a bow if you wanted to tighten up your shirt. And everything he had on was white. It was the whitest that shirt that I've seen in pants, and then he had on top of a sandal where you see his feet, And it was like, I best I could describe his feet, that were his lower leather sandals.
And you saw his toes?
Oh, yeah. He had toes, feet just like us. They were big. Wow.
How many? Do you remember how many toes or fingers?
His hands, when he touched me, his hands were just like mine. But that's the only thing that at that age, I just kept thinking how big this guy was. I mean, if you saw him, you would, out in the wild, it would be like Goliath or something.
And
he had regular hands, but everything was huge, like out of proportion.
And the skin tone on his hands were what color? Say that again?
Just like us.
Just like us. They were pink, or they were tanned, or what?
No, this guy, he had blue eyes, blonde hair. It was, you went back, I always thought about how blonde it was. And it was down to his shoulders, and he had the bluest eyes I've ever seen in anything.
And you said that you thought it was Norwegian he was speaking with your grandfather. Did your grandfather know how to speak Norwegian?
My grandfather came from Småland, Sweden. His name was Samuel Johnson. And he spoke Swedish to his wife back in Pennsylvania, because they stayed with us a lot. And they talked in that language, and that's how I kind of thought that they knew each other. Because when that gentleman spoke, my grandfather understood him.
And you did not understand him?
No, not at all. It just, I thought, wow, it went through my mind, who is this person? What is this? I did not know at the time they were aliens.
But you get any impressions on what the communication was between them? Any mental thoughts of what they were talking about?
My grandfather told me, months later, I was the only one allowed to go in his room, and he always talked to me about the Bible. He's the one who taught me the Lord's Prayer and so on. And I asked him, I said, Grandpa, who was that? And I'm only going to tell you once. And you're going to have to be satisfied with my answer. And he said, they're good people, and they're helping us. Leave it alone now. Don't ask me ever again, okay? And I said, right. So evidently, years later, when they said they're helping us, I can only imagine maybe they're here and they're doing things to better our life. I don't know. But that's how my grandfather told me. He never told me anymore.
Would your grandfather have known how to speak German?
You know, I think he could have, but I never heard German from him.
Okay. And you don't think that they were speaking German when you heard them speak together?
No, the way I know they were speaking some like Norwegian or Swedish is I went to those countries on a tour when our ship went there on deployment, and I went to that country, Norway and Sweden, and I wanted to see what those countries were like, and when they talked to each other, I thought, my God, this is what my grandpa talks.
And that was Swedish you heard then? That sounded similar?
I found out that my grandfather and my grandma came from Småland, Sweden, just before the Germans invaded that country, and they came to America.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, this is wonderful. Go ahead, Peter.
This is Peter, Marty. Do you know what year your grandparents came to the United States from Sweden?
Yes, Småland, Sweden.
Do you know what year that was when they might have come to America?
1937.
The reason I ask is my paternal grandfather, Clarence Emmett Davenport, M.D., was working at Ellis Island at the time, and there's a reasonable possibility that he may have examined your grandparents when they arrived in the United States, if they came through Ellis Island.
They did come through Ellis Island.
Yeah.
Oh, my word, Peter. The world is smaller than we think. Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
You know what? We've got 4 minutes left before we're going to take our commercial break. I apologize literally here to Mark, my co-host, for hogging this segment, and to Michael Falzarano for putting him off for 30 more minutes. I really do. The Reverend Sean Whittington is now just joining us as well, so we're going to have a full show after the top of the hour. But I couldn't pass this time up with Marty Manetto, because this is a fast-breaking historical sighting that seems to be so timely right now, Peter. What do you think?
Yeah, it's a perfect story for the time of ufology. I can't thank you enough, Marty, for your having stayed up late and consented to be on the program with us. You've done a magnificent job of telling both your stories, and I look forward to the written follow-up reports on both of them. It's just a fascinating story you tell.
Well, I wanted to say something. In fact, I had called information saying, can you give me a phone number to the UFO place? And they said, no, we don't have anything. And finally, the last operator that I got, she said, oh, you mean UF Center in Seattle? I said, I'll take that phone number if I can. And she gave me the phone number, and that's how I got hold of you guys. Because when the doctor had told me about my cancer and stuff, I finally saw this thing years ago on TV. It says you could write a declaration on your deathbed so people know that it was true. And that's why I decided to do a deathbed declaration, but I wanted to do it while I was still alive. And I have Mary here that's helped me write it and put it all down on paper. And she asked me things, and then I can recall some things, and we changed it back to that, and I should have it done within the next day or so and in the mail to you guys.
Oh, my word. That's wonderful. We literally, by the way, Peter, need to give out that famous hotline that Marty found for the National UFO Reporting Center, because you're going to get flooded, I believe, in the next 24 hours with new cases, because Marty has come out and explained his. So you might want to give the hotline phone number.
I think you're right, Michael, and thank you for the opportunity. The hotline number is area code 206-722-3000, and our website address for follow-up written reports, which we invariably ask for, as we have asked Marty for. The website address is ufocenter.com. Very simple. ufocenter.com. And the mailing address, the U.S. postal address, is National UFO Reporting Center, or NUFORC, P.O. Box 700, Davenport, Washington, 99122. That's P.O. Box 700, Davenport, Washington, 99122.
All right. Oh, my word, you guys. We are now at the top of the hour and have to take another commercial break. But, Marty, thank you so much. Thank you for your service. And I hope this really helps you with your mental health in any case, because of what you've done. I really appreciate it. You've got our phone numbers, our contact, if you need to get a hold of us. And literally, we will be all praying for you and your good health as the new year comes along.
Thank you very much. And you have my phone number should you ever want to contact me again. And I would be glad to talk to you at any time.
Oh, well, we will. We'll follow up if we can. Thank you, Peter. This has been a blockbuster segment. We're going to be right back, folks, with more Spaced Out Sunday after this.
Looking for creative ways to get your company out in public? How about advertising on Spaced Out Radio? Our sales department...
Okay, Marty, thank you so much, buddy. Get some sleep.
From commercial spots to banners to special promotions.
All righty, you too. Thank you again.
To get your name and product out to
Bye now.
our listeners. For a price guide and more information, please contact us at sales@spacedoutradio.com.
If you like it hot, real hot, then heat up your meals with Bumblefoot hot sauce.
Get your Bumblefoot hot sauce today. The sauce, Bumblelicious, and the 4 million Scoville unit. Bumble, we're going in hot, real hot, coming out even hotter.
Keep the milk nearby. And tantalize your taste buds tonight.
Bumblefoot hot sauce, available now at kajans.com.
Get your horns up with me on Spaced Out Radio. This is Ron Bumblefoot Thal. Come tune in to SOR where you can hear me rock out with Little Brother Is Watching, the official theme song of Spaced Out Radio. And then come on over to bumblefoot.com where you can find out about my tour schedule, my music, and everything else. Bumblefoot.com keeps you up to date on what I'm doing and the best way to stay in touch with my music and music camps. Sign up for my newsletter at bumblefoot.com and remember, Little Brother Is Watching.
Visit purpleplates.com today. For over 40 years, the Purple Energy Plates have been delivering amazing results for their many customers. Inspired by the great genius Nikola Tesla, the harmony, healing, and energetic effects of the plates have proven over and over to be beneficial and often miraculous to thousands of customers. Check their site for daily specials and choose from their many energy products. You won't be sorry. Visit them today.
Oh, Peter, you're still on.
Didn't get to hear any of it.
Peter, can you mute your end there for a second? Or actually, you can just hang up, buddy.
All you have to do is head over to our website and click on the SOR Vault.
Peter, you're still live with us, so you gotta get off the line.
These hats, coffee mugs, you name it, we can get it to you. So do your shopping by supporting the store you love. Get your Spaced Out Radio swag at the SOR Vault today.
Listen to some half-page radio program over Bible study.
Hey everyone, I'm John Edwards.
And I'm Stacey Edwards. Together we're taking over Saturday nights on Spaced Out Radio. Where
Hey,
we're
Peter?
our own experiences of the paranormal and talk to the best
Peter, can you hear me?
find to help bring you answers to your strange tales.
We're here to entertain your need for weekend. Woo! So tune us in at spacedoutradio.com starting at 9:06 Pacific, 12:06 a.m. Eastern, where we can all get a little spooky together.
Spaced Out Saturday nights right here at spacedoutradio.com.
We are scouring the world for the most intriguing stories of your day. Take the time to read up on the SOR Newswire, where our team, led by Captain Shirk, will deliver to you some of the best paranormal and supernatural news, along with some stories that will blow your mind from the weird to the wacky. It's the news outside the news that piques interest, and that's what we're looking to deliver to you. The SOR Newswire, only at spacedoutradio.com.
We all know on Spaced Out Radio we love a good beard and mustache, so why not take care of your facial hair with Mighty Moose Beard Oil? Made in Canada, we're taking care of beards and stashes around the world. We use 100% natural ingredients with our oils and balms to make your whiskers feel silky smooth. Use promo code SOR2019 at MightyMooseBeard.com today.
Hi, this is Amber Becker, and I want to invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel where we store all of the SOR show archives for free. And as an added bonus, every 2 weeks I'm posting brand new content on Cryptid Tales, where I will get into some of the spookier legends and folklore from around the world and tell the stories that go with them. Find us at youtube.com/spacedoutradio and check out Cryptid Tales today. Drop a comment and let me know what you want to hear. See you there.
Are you an experiencer of something strange that can't be explained? Do you want help finding out what's going on? I'm Ryan Stacy, head of the Experiencer Support Association, otherwise known as TESSA. We've teamed up with Spaced Out Radio to investigate cases filled out in the SOR Sightlines report. We are independent and there's no cost to what we do. All we need is your experience. Let's find out what's happening together on the SOR Sightlines report.
Hey, space travelers, this is John Resnick, founder of the Chive and Chive Charities. If you know anything about our website, you know we like to do things a little different. We're not some faceless organization collecting money for a nebulous cause. Our donor dollars go directly toward life-improving items. Then we give those items directly to an underdog who needs it most. To become a donor with Spaced Out Radio's official charity, Chive Charities, just go to chivecharities.org/donate.
For the price of 1 cup of coffee a month, you can become an SOR Space Traveler. The Space Travelers Club is a place where you can interact with other listeners, either live during the show or on our great forum. We want your stories, pictures, comments, and ideas. You'll get live video streams, exclusive content, and be a part of our newsletter. Stay in touch with everything SOR. The Space Travelers Club is just $5 a month at spacedoutradio.com.
Hi there, this is Dave Scott, and I'm bringing you the Woo every Monday through Friday on Spaced Out Radio. I'm going all out to bring you the strangest, oddest stories and subjects I can find for your entertainment. Why? Because when we hit peak Woo, I know I've done my job. So come tune us in at spacedoutradio.com, 9:06 Pacific, 12:06 a.m. Eastern, and together, my friends, we own the night.
Welcome back to hour number 2 of Spaced Out Sunday. I am your host, Michael W. Hall, the paranormal lawyer. Thanks for joining me. We welcome back everyone listening in our terrestrial affiliates, WQEE 99.1 FM in Noonan, Georgia, and UPRN 107.7 in New Orleans. And on the digital side, we are very proud to be on Revolution Radio. And don't forget, you can always check out our archives for free at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Do me a favor, hit that subscribe button. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you, including rocking out to some Bumblefoot, shopping at our Spaced Out Radio store, and catching up on SOR Newswire, and so much more. Michael Falzarano is an American guitarist, a singer, and a songwriter who has been a professional musician since the 1970s, most notably in the bands Hot Tuna, the New Riders of the Purple Sage, and most recently with the Memphis Pilgrims, which is a Memphis-style rock and roll blues band founded in 1986. Michael is currently touring in his new band, the English Town Project, covering classic songs of, get this, the Grateful Dead, New Riders of the Purple Sage, and Marshall Tucker Band. Welcome to the show, Michael Falzarano. Thank you for hanging in there with us, buddy.
Thanks for having me. That was pretty wild. That was a great story.
Oh, my word, buddy. I don't know. You had, being kind of on the periphery of the paranormal and UFOs, you got red-pilled tonight big time. Just by listening to Marty Manetto, another fellow Italian. How about that?
There you go. Yeah, that was wild. That was really a wild story.
Oh my word! Now, Mark Eddy, are you still with us, buddy?
Yes.
Oh gosh, you are the expert that put this show together, and I first of all got to thank you for all of your due diligence and what you've done to put this show together tonight. You deserve probably a Cosmo Award from the Academy of Paranormal Arts and Sciences in this regard by this episode alone. But I thought I'd let you maybe do the first honors here with Michael, the rock and roll legend himself, to start things off on this segment of the show.
Michael, since you have such a lengthy music career, and maybe you could just give us a little background on who Hot Tuna was and the New Riders.
Yeah, sure. I mean, Hot Tuna was a band that came out of another band. They call it a spin-off band in the music world, and they spun off of the Jefferson Airplane. And the Jefferson Airplane, sort of defined the music of the 60s in the San Francisco scene and sound. And the main guitar player, Yorick Alvin, and Jack Cassidy, the bass player, after a few years, they started their own thing called Hot Tuna, and they've been going with that band probably for close to, if not more than 50 years. I hooked up with them in 1983 and played with them on and off through that time and all through the 90s. And, we sort of, they put the big band, it was a 5-piece band, they put that on hiatus and went back to doing the duet thing in around 2002. So they've been around a long time. They got, I don't know how many albums out. I've played on a bunch of them. I've toured all over the world with them. And then after that, I hooked up with the New Riders of the Purple Sage. And the New Riders of the Purple Sage was a band, again, kind of a spin-off band, because when it started, it had Jerry Garcia from the Grateful Dead in it playing pedal steel. Now, Jerry had a day job in the Grateful Dead, so he couldn't stick with the band. And later they got Buddy Cage to play the pedal steel guitar for the band. And they went on for another 50 years. And I've been working with them probably for 15, 16 years now. And it's been quite a journey for me. I don't know how these things happen cosmically or spiritually or why they happen, but, growing up in New York as a kid, I was playing in clubs and bars and little theaters, doing my kid thing. And I was playing the music of the New Riders of the Purple Sage and Hot Tuna and Jefferson Airplane and the Grateful Dead and Commander Cody and all those kind of bands. And later on in life, through some crazy twists and turns, I wind up playing in the band and become a member of those bands and played with, many of the guys whose music and I tried to learn as a youngster. A lot of the old blues guys that I really loved, I wound up playing with all of them. It's just been a crazy, interesting journey so far.
Michael, let me ask you also, what was your neighborhood that you grew up in New York?
I grew up in Crown Heights when I was younger, and then we moved to Long Island and back to Crown Heights and back to Long Island.
Okay, good. Gives me an idea. I grew up myself, literally, in what George Carlin, which was my neighbor growing up as a kid, dubbed White Harlem on West 121st Street.
All right. Yeah, that's up there.
Yeah. Cool. Go ahead, Mark.
Yeah.
Okay. Michael, you just really grew out of all these legendary bands and have all these connections to them. And what's really interesting is just the legacy of the Jefferson Airplane, where they're playing the three big outdoor festivals that were really of consequence. The Monterey Pop, Woodstock, and Altamont. And just that having a chance to work with those kind of that level of musicianship, must be really exciting for you. And then you can see the nucleus of the New Riders in the Festival Express movie.
That's right. Yeah, I mean, look, I've known these guys, I've known Yorma and Jack, the guys in Hot Tuna, for over 40 years. And most of the guys in the New Riders, I've known them for about 30 years. And, this new CD I have out called The Kaleidoscope Christmas, Yorma and Jack from Hot Tuna and Pete Sears from the Jefferson Starship, they're on the CD. I call it's my Falzarano and extended family because it's really what it is. It is me and my extended family playing music. And I said earlier, it's been an interesting journey. It's I can't explain it. When you look at life as it just seems like you're going from here to there, but there's a million paths you got to go through to get from here to there. Here I am now talking with you guys in the middle of the night on Spaced Out Sunday.
Yeah.
And boy, do we appreciate it tonight. I tell you what, this was an amazing show to get you on just before the holidays, by the way. We definitely want to push your new Christmas album because this is just classic. I cannot believe this rock and roll Christmas album is just coming out, and there it is. Kaleidoscope Christmas is what it's called. Mark is holding it up. I'm going to stop talking, Mark, so that you can get a full screenshot of that for the folks that will be watching.
How's that?
Yeah, that's it. That's the one.
And, okay, so now that everyone has had a chance to see the album cover, they can open it up, see the liner notes in there. It's a really well packaged CD, but each song has all the artists on it. You can just follow along. Okay, track one, you got all these people, and Michael, you said that they're an extended family. They've been with you from that. Who are these band members, your extended family? Where are you knowing Professor Louis and Miss Marie? Some of these, I want to talk about Claire Maloney later. She has an interesting role with you as well. But how do you know all these people?
Well, it's kind of a funny thing. It's just like I'm a kid growing up in New York. I grew up, blah, 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 and in my early 20s, I moved to California. I meet and hook up with Yorma, and then later Jack. And then, from that, meeting those two guys, and this guy met that guy. And, you just kind of it just sort of all happens. And I go, all the people on this CD, for instance, Jeff Mattson from the band Dark Star Orchestra, he's on the CD. Jason Crosby, Kerry Carney, the great blues slide player from New York, is on the record. Professor Louis and Miss Marie, Scott Guberman, Wade DeChallo, all the people that played on the record. They're all just friends that I've met from one place to another, all by, for the most part, happenstance. It was like, no, I'm going to go out and meet that person, and they're going to play my record kind of thing, or I'm going to go meet that person because I really love their band. It's just kind of all just gelled and happened. Like, a lot of the core of this band that made this record is the band is Zen Tricksters. They're another band out of New York. And, really a bunch of great guys I've known for about 30 years. And when I called them up to say I wanted to do this, just like with everybody, there's no music business craziness that you would think. It's just like, okay, when are we going to do it? Where do I need to be? There's no discussion about, what are we doing? How much am I going to get paid or any of that kind of nonsense. It's just it's really like a family. And, all the people, I've worked with every one of the people on this record multiple times, the newest, I would say, into my little world, the newest person in my little world is Claire Maloney. She's the singer in the band The English Town Project with me. She's a great singer. She's actually classically trained as an opera singer. And as I like to say, and it's a true story, the night before our gig, her first gig with the English Town Project, she was singing opera at Carnegie Hall. And as I like to joke, it's all been downhill ever since then. I told my story.
Oh, Michael, before we get any farther, can you describe the songs on this new Christmas album and who wrote them, and give us a feel of what people are going to listen to, even though we can't play them over the air right now. Tell us what we got here for Christmas coming up.
Okay. Well, I mean, the CD opens up with a tune. Well, I wrote all the songs on the record. I wrote every song, and I rearranged Jingle Bells into the Jingle Bells Jingle Jam. But all the other songs, it's 12 songs on the album. I wrote them all. And it starts off with the song I knew was going to be the first song on the album. In the middle, I wrote it's called "Yes, It's Christmas Time Again," and the last song on the album, "You're Still Standing," is more of a we got through the year New Year's song. I knew that was going to be the last song on the album, and the rest of it, the songs on the album, like "Ho Ho Ho," it's just a fun little Christmas tune. It's for the kids, so to speak. The Tree Nobody Wanted, it's a nice, in my opinion, nice little story tune that just came to me waking up from, I was dozed off and I woke up and the song was in my head and I wrote it down and 2 days later it was a song on the record. I love when that happens.
Oh my word, and that's so the allusion to the Charlie Brown Christmas tree that no one wanted, right?
That's right.
Oh, that's great.
I don't know why I woke up thinking about that. Everybody loved this tune. It's probably the most popular tune from the record. But I woke up and it was in my head and it just sort of wrote itself, and then the Jingle Bells, Jingle Jam, like I said, I just took Jingle Bells. I was looking for one traditional Christmas song that I could put on the record that would, sort of tie everything together. And I like Jingle Bells because it worked well with this other jam part I wrote. And also, I love the whole theme of Jingle Bells because it's almost, if it were written maybe 100 years later, it would have been a rock and roll song because at its core, what Jingle Bells is, well, first of all, it was never a Christmas song. That came much later. It started out as sort of a winter song, and they played it a lot during Thanksgiving time. But it was never a Christmas song until they cut it down to the two verses that everybody knows, essentially. But the original tune that was written, I think back in the 1880 something, it was about sleigh racing, essentially, and these two guys, they go out sleigh racing with their girlfriends, and, one guy in the race falls out of the sleigh and the other guy races by him and laughs at him. It's all in this long tale of the original Jingle Bells, which is really like 7, 8, 9 verses. And so, when I was researching, I thought to myself, you know what? This is actually just a true rock and roll song. It's about drag racing and picking up chicks.
On snow. I love it.
On snow, because, so that's what it, Anyway, so I kind of was able to mold those two things together, the Jingle Bells and Jingle Jam. And I think came out pretty good, And I've got a couple of instrumentals on here, the Eggnog Shuffle is just kind of an old school Hot Tuna sounding thing. The Bethlehem Reverend Diana. Diana's Jack Ashley's late wife. She passed away a few years ago. And I had a dream about her, and in my mind, this sort of music was playing, and I somehow was able to get it down on paper and then show it to the guys and have everybody play it. I think it came out beautiful. So.
Oh my word, Michael, did you come up with all of these songs just for the album, or had some of them been things that you've had for years and you just kind of brought everything together?
It's a combination. Yes, It's Christmas Time and Ho Ho Ho, the first two songs. I had those for a few years. It's a God Almighty World. I've had that song for a very long time. In fact, I recorded it, or Yoma recorded it on one of his albums. It's, again, wouldn't be considered a traditional Christmas song, except that it's about the birth of Jesus. So, it is kind of a Christmas song.
Wonderful.
And some of the songs, The Tree Nobody Wanted, that was a brand new song. I wrote it just while I was recording it. This whole album was recorded, and that came to me at the very end, and I decided, let me get all the guys together, let's go in the studio, let's cut this track. And we did it, and within like 2 days, it was done and on the record. Oh,
I love those kinds of stories, Michael. Yeah. Where literally a song bumps its way onto the album at the last moment.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. And a couple of other songs, they were just kind of came to me, when they did, But over the last, I would say, few years, and then. Especially like this year, a lot of things came together. For instance, The Tree Nobody Wanted, 420, 1224, Psychedelic Cowboy Christmas. Those are all songs that kind of came together now, you know. A couple of the other ones, Christmas Blues is an older song that I had. And like I said, you know, It's a God Almighty World. That was a song that I recorded with Yora years ago, and I just wanted to put it on this record as well.
Well, Michael, before we get too far here, we've got about 4 minutes left till our commercial break and the end of your segment here. I'm sad to say, but Mark, I'm going to throw it to you for some last-minute questions here, or a wrap-up, before we get into Shawn Whittingham, our paranormal pastor, in the rest of the show. So go ahead, Mark.
Okay, Michael, your centerpiece of the CD is the 9-minute long A Psychedelic Cowboy Christmas. What's the story behind that song?
Yeah, I mean, that's a song that I wrote for the late, well, I didn't write it for Buddy Cage, but it's in memory of Buddy Cage, because he was there at its inception. I was on the road with the New Riders. We were up in Northern California somewhere, and we were out to breakfast. It was me, Buddy, David Nelson. I think the other guys from the New Riders were there. And my guitar tech at the time, Lacey Alt, was also at breakfast with us. And we were talking about what we've done and where we were going and what we should do in the coming year. And I suggested that we do a Christmas album. I told him that Jorma Kalkin and I had done one previously. It was successful. People loved it. We had a lot of fun doing it. Didn't have to be a traditional Christmas record with the traditional Christmas songs on it. It could be, we could write all the tunes. I have a bunch of tunes. I told them. And they were very interested in it. But, you know, sometimes in bands, things go sideways and you just never get to it. Which is what happened for the New Riders. You know, Buddy got sick, David got sick, and then, you know, everything went on hiatus. But at the time, the Lacey thought, oh, this is really a great idea. If you do it, you should call the album A Psychedelic Cowboy Christmas, because the New Riders of the Purple Sage are considered a psychedelic cowboy band. And I thought that would have been a great title for an album by the New Riders, but, you know, not for this particular project for me. But I did know, as soon as she said it, that I was going to write that song, Psychedelic Cowboy Christmas. And I did, you know, and I wrote it and then rewrote it and I wrote it again. Sometimes some songs come out in, you know, linear, like this is the song, like The Tree Nobody Wanted. And then other songs you have to work and massage into what they become, is what I did with Psychedelic Cowboy Christmas.
Well, Michael Falzarano, we need to make sure people can get your Christmas album here before we go to the break here at the bottom of the hour. So give us the info on how we can get a hold of Kaleidoscope Christmas.
Right. Well, at this point in time, because now it's for sale everywhere, you know, and all, so you can download it. You can, from iTunes, you can go to Amazon. Although Amazon's sold out right now, I just sent them a new shipment, so they should have it soon. But you can get all the information from my website, michaelfalzarano.com.
Let's spell your last name, buddy, so everybody can do that.
Okay, you got that. Falzarano. And it's a hard name to spell and pronounce, so if you want to just go to thenewriders.com.
There you go.
Then you can link over to me and you can find me. I'm very easily found. I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram, I'm on Twitter. I got a gazillion followers, so people know how to get in touch with me. But if you want to get a copy of the CD, michaelfalzarano.com, newriders.com, woodstockrecords.com, you can find it. And guys, thanks for having me. You know.
Oh, this is Mark. Thank you for bringing Michael on with us tonight. This has been a holiday treat for me, for sure. An old rocker from the old days. So thank you, Mark. Thank you, Michael.
All right, man. Thank you.
All right, we're going to be right back with more Spaced Out Sunday after this, folks. Hang in there with us. We've got the Reverend Sean Whittington coming right back.
Cold drinks, great food, and the best music in Vancouver. The Moose Vancouver is the place to be. Open until 2 a.m. nightly. Everything on the menu starts at just $6.95. Who serves food that cheap anymore? At the Moose, you'll never know who you'll run into. Rock stars, actors, athletes. It's the place everyone wants to be. So join us at the Moose Vancouver, the official party bar of Spaced Out Radio.
Hey, space travelers, this is John Resig, founder of the Chive and Chive Charities. If you know anything about our website, you know we like to do things a little differently. We're not some faceless organization collecting money for a nebulous cause. Our donor dollars go directly toward life-improving items. Then we give those items directly to an underdog who needs it most. To become a donor with Spaced Out Radio's official charity, Chive Charities, just go to chivecharities.org/donate.
Hello, this is your guitar man, Ron Bumblefoot Thal, and I have to tell you, I love the response I get for Little Brother is Watching from Spaced Out Radio fans. It's amazing how music can inspire and make people think deeper about what's going on in the supernatural world. You can head over to my website, bumblefoot.com, to check out my music, my guitar workshops, my touring, even check out some of the hot sauces that I'm working on. And make sure you keep on listening, because with Spaced Out Radio, you know Little Brother is watching.
We're adding to the entertainment online for Spaced Out Radio. I'm Amber Beckrud, and I want to invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel and check out Cryptid Tales, where I will take you on a journey into some of the strangest legends and lore from around the world, relaying the stories to you of the strange creatures and experiences that people have had throughout time. You can find Cryptid Tales at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio, and while you're there, don't forget to check out our free archives and leave a comment. See you there.
Hey everybody, the SOR Space Travelers is open. For just $5 a month, you can hang out with Dave and our crew privately in our members-only section. With your signing, you'll receive newsletters on what's going on with Spaced Out Radio. You'll have direct contact with the host during the show in our chat, live streaming videos, and a great forum for your posts and more. Become a space traveler now at spacedoutradio.com.
Looking for something new to push your limits? Look Beyond the Spectrum, a new docu-series featuring some of the best researchers in the world when it comes to everything from UFOs, government cover-ups, and strange humanoids. Truth seekers Stephen Bassett, Jeff Meldrum, Jack Kasher, and Stanton Friedman, among others, all chip in to bring their knowledge to you. Beyond the Spectrum can be found on Amazon as well as Tubi TV. Tell us what you think on our Amazon page.
Are you looking for great advertising value for your company? Look no further than Spaced Out Radio. We have a multitude of places to get your name out there, including commercial ads during the show, special promotions, and banners on our website. Our audience is proven to support the companies that support our show. We can make your budget work for you. So for more information, please contact us at sales@spacedoutradio.com.
At spacedoutradio.com, we are keeping you up to date on all the news with the SOR Newswire. Captain Shirk leads the team that is bringing you the news of the day and exclusive stories on everything paranormal and supernatural. It's free to read, it's updated daily, and it's right there for you. The SOR Newswire is a one-stop shop for the news of the day. Check it out at spacedoutradio.com today.
Hello everyone, this is Ryan Stacy from the Experiencer Support Association, otherwise known as TESSA. We're glad to team up with Spaced Out Radio to help investigate your experiences on the SOR Sightlines Report. Together, we'll investigate the strange sightings and occurrences you've had. We're looking for answers just like you. So fill out a Sightlines Report on the Spaced Out Radio website and let's figure out what's going on together.
Need that weekend's supernatural fix? Look no further than Spaced Out Saturday right here at spacedoutradio.com. I'm Stacey Edwards.
And I'm John Edwards. Each Saturday night, Stacey and I are going to bring you the best in paranormal, cryptids, UFOs, you name it, and we're going there.
It's all about the experience and to share the knowledge with all of you.
So tune us in every Saturday night on Spaced Out Saturdays, starting at 9:06 p.m. Pacific, 12:06 a.m. Eastern, only at spacedoutradio.com.
Hello, space travelers. It's me again, Carl. Don't forget to join the Space Travelers Club for just $5 a month and follow Spaced Out Radio on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio. Our Instagram, Dave Scott SOR. Our Facebook page is Spaced Out Radio Show. Our archives are free at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Come woo it up with Spaced Out Radio today. Bye!
I'm feeling a little spicy tonight. What to do? What to do?
Why not get Bumblefuck?
4 million Scoville units of pure hard rock. Bumblefoot hot sauces come in 3 flavors. The burning Bumble. Tone it down a bit with Bumblicious and throw the sauce on everything.
Spice it up. Bumble me, baby. Bumblefoot hot sauce. Get it today at kajans.com.
The Reverend Sean Whittington is a Baptist Catholic and an ordained exorcism deliverance minister and advanced practitioner. He's also the host of Shawn Whittington's Paranormal Ministry, a live all things paranormal TV show broadcast from his haunted home every Sunday, which he just got through broadcasting, by the way. So we got to thank Sean for coming from his show to ours here on Spaced Out Sunday. And a returning guest he is as well. Reverend Sean is the co-founder of www.ghostbegone.biz with his wife Sharon, who's a certified Stephen minister with the Lutheran Church and a sensitive intuitive herself. Reverend Sean is also the founder of the Worldwide Society of Exorcists and the author of God, Ghosts, and the Paranormal Ministry. Reverend Sean, welcome to the show.
How much trouble are you two getting into tonight?
Oh, my word, Reverend Sean. You probably were on the air live with your show for our first segment, which ran into a full hour with Peter Davenport, your good buddy and mine. You know, you've co-hosted with me with Peter before. Peter brought on a guest. I don't know if you've heard the rumblings yet, but Peter brought on a guest who, in 1955, literally as I think he said 5-year-old kid, walked aboard a cylindrical UFO with his grandfather, who seemed to be communicating in Swedish with a 7-foot-tall, Caucasian-looking alien that was beautiful, long blonde hair, blue eyes, looked like a humanoid, coming from Antarctica. Oh, it was nuts.
I missed that. I'm sorry to say. I came in on the wonderful interview with Michael of past Hot Tuna and writers for the Purple Sage fame, and there's no coincidences. You guys brought me on. I wished I could have been on a little bit earlier. Unfortunately, I missed that first part of the show. That sounds like an absolutely phenomenal story, but everything happens for a reason. I'm just going to throw this out there. I wasn't a big fan of either Hot Tuna or Purple Sage. Not that I wasn't very familiar with their music and didn't like it. I just didn't really hear much of them. But my wife was a fan. So it's interesting that he was your second guest, and now I have another stocking stuffer that I can purchase for her with his CD.
Oh, she is going to love that.
It's really worth it.
I have no doubt that he's just such an eloquent, well-spoken man, and you got to take your hat off to somebody who is hard a rock and roller as those guys are, and they're all still living. And I don't know, was it just me, or when you had the up-close shots of him, his mannerisms a little bit, and his look a little bit. Of course, he's not as heavy, and the beard wasn't as full, but he had a little bit of that Jerry Garcia feel to him.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And I was so excited when you were able to bless him and his album at the end of that segment off the air. You were doing it, and I saw that on the screen. So thank you for doing that for Michael.
Oh, it was my pleasure. But it's things happen. There's no coincidence. It was meant for me to at least catch that part of the interview, and I'm anxious to get his CD, and my wife will be pleasantly surprised, and that's how this whole thing that we're involved in works out.
And Mark, I'm going to throw it to you for the first part of Reverend Sean's segment here to follow up on whatever you want to follow up on.
Well, I think Michael's CD is really like Who's Next or a Terrapin station of Christmas CDs. It's like up there as one of the best. So I think Sharon's really going to love.
Oh yeah, show it again.
Live Scope Christmas as a stocking stuffer for $12. You can't beat it.
Oh, not at all. Yeah, you can't beat it. That's going to be excellent.
But, go ahead, Sean.
No, go ahead, brother. It's nice to actually see you guys. The last time I had an interview with either one of you, it was just strictly audio. Didn't get a chance to see your faces, so I much prefer this. I really like that.
It works. I think it's really neat, and I think more and more shows are going to the Zoom meetings or whatever, StreamYard. It's really revolutionizing radio. It's like radio with video now.
Absolutely.
Well, Sean, what have you been up to since we had you on last? Let's get an update from the paranormal pastor.
Well, let me see. You pretty much covered everything in your opening monologue. What I also loved about your, this is another, falls into those, nothing's a coincidence. I was just, this is TMI for a lot of people, and we're going to lose half our audience now. But earlier, I was just wondering how I could get my beard softer. And you ran, now I know I got to get some of that Mighty Moose beard cream that you guys were advertising. So, see, it all works out. I'll try some of that stuff too.
And I had never used beard oil myself, and I don't typically carry a beard. But when I do, when you put that on, those little blemishes you get under your skin, under the beard, it's just awesome. Yeah, try it.
Yeah, I am. I'm serious. I'm going to try it. But not much is new with me. I'm in the same boat as everybody. I wish we could all do have a complete do-over of 2020. My wife and I, we're both in the high-risk category. And we both have had our fair share of underlying health issues over the years. So we made the heartbreaking decision, I believe, back in late February, early March of this year when Vegas went into a complete lockdown. We were going to probably physically not go out and work any cases until they got a handle on whatever this is that they seem to not know anything about.
And Reverend Sean, tell us exactly what happened to Vegas during the lockdown. I have seen things online where there is literally ghosts on the streets down there. It's just crazy. Is it bouncing back a bit?
Well, it was like that in the very beginning. It was unlike anything. My wife has lived here a lot longer than I have, so she says in her lifetime she'd never seen Vegas look like that before, where a news camera crew would drive down the strip and there was just nobody. It looked like an apocalypse movie. But they slowly started bouncing back. The casinos opened back up 3 or 4 months after the original lockdown, slowly but surely. And they, everybody's trying to practice the social distancing, and limiting the amount of people they can let in at one time, and everybody's got to have a mask on, and everybody gets their temperature taken at the door. How much all that stuff helps, God only knows. But it'll never be back, until we're beyond this, it will never get back to what it was. So currently right now, and there's rumblings that it might possibly go back into another lockdown if, this wave of vaccines that we've got coming out doesn't make a dramatic turnaround in the spiking right now. You drive by some hospitals out here, and they've already got tents out in the parking lots. So they're full, and it's scary.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. And in reality, that kind of puts a strain on all of us. During this time of stress, do you find that people are under more attack, psychically, demonically, or whatever?
I don't know if it's more so now. I know that I get a lot more calls from people who never realized their house was haunted before because they spend 8-10 hours a day at work, and now 5-6 days a week. That one day they're off, they're out having a good time, but now this year, especially if they've been laid off, they're home all the time now. So they've noticed more, they see more, they hear more, they've noticed more. Of course, I'm sorry to say that alcohol abuse and drug abuse and suicide has all gone through the roof. So I get a lot of people that just reach out to me who are now, they were targets before, we're all targets. But now they've let their guard down. They're weakened. They're in a much weakened state spiritually because all of this has just really done a number on everybody psychically and psychologically. And so people tend to be a little more, their guard is let down, and they're a little in more of a weakened state to fight off the attack of these things, which if you become a target of one, it can be relentless, and it's just a numbers game and a war of attrition. Who can hold out, and they just pummel you until you're just exhausted and can barely fight back.
And that indeed was where you come in. You are an ordained exorcist, but also a deliverance minister. Tell us a little bit about how you are able to help folks who are under this kind of attack.
Well, if I can go there physically, that is the preferred method of choice. I like to be there if it calls for any type of confrontation or a battle, if you will. Like I said, unfortunately this year, my wife and I decided in March that we would wait at least a year, probably till springtime of 2021 before we physically go out again. So I try to look at the bright side. I've been able to work on my counseling skills a lot more this year because now that's all I have. If I can't go and see the person, go see them in person, go to their home, and see for myself up close and personal what's going on, then we do a lot of talking on the phone and counseling. So I've gotten better at that, hopefully. I like to think that I do. And people have to realize that they are really the ones that have the power. I don't have any magical powers. The people that have the real power to turn their lives around, draw their line in the sand, push back, make a stand, are the ones that are under attack. And once you can get them convinced that they do have that power within themselves and strengthen their faith again and get them to a point where they can start fighting back, then things aren't going to turn around. But once I can get them to that state of mind, then usually I can bring cases to a closure. And the list I have right now of people that I do plan to see once we decide to go back out of the home again is overwhelming. There's a lot of people to see. They're not all waiting on me. Many of them have helped themselves through talking with me a lot. And so it's mostly people that I'm going to go see and check up on. But God bless, there's no real ugly cases that are just lingering out there, waiting to see me, waiting for me to go there physically. So I've lucked out in that sense.
Well, and these folks, to begin with, are spiritual people. who are under attack, how do you turn them around, in a counseling session to let them realize they've got the power to fight their own fight in the interim?
Well, it's tough. They have to buy into what you're telling them. And many people, I hate to admit that there are a lot of people I have to cut loose and a lot of people I lose because for whatever reason, and it could just be the way I approach it and I talk to them and maybe my demeanor or how I go about instructing them how to do what they need to do. Sometimes we don't connect, and I don't want to make things even worse. And when I see it going down taking that path, then I usually back up and back off a little bit and try to find another team more suited for their purposes. But if they pretty much are almost at rock bottom and willing to do almost anything to get their life turned around and their life back, if they just, stand firm, stand strong, have faith, and do what I tell them to do, usually they see a turnaround rather quickly. And what I tell people to do usually changes from client to client because all the needs are different. I don't try to convert anybody over to Catholicism or Christianity, but I let them know up front that, I'm a baptized Catholic, ordained through a Christian university. I'm going to come from a religious angle. And I don't judge. If they're not into that, I don't judge that at all. I'm still really glad that they reached out to me for help. But now I've got to try and find somebody that I know that they will relate to more and allow that person to help them. And so it's very, it can seem at times like it's all over the place. You got to stay focused.
Is there any time where you do Zoom casts with your counseling sessions, or is this just over the phone?
Sometimes. You mentioned it earlier that I live in a haunted home, and yeah, I do. And so sometimes if it's a little active here at the house, and I am trying to have a calm deliverance session with a client over a Skype or Facebook Live or Zoom like this, what have you, a StreamYard, what have you. If they see, if the house tends to be active during that session, now it's just adding fuel to the fire. The client is now getting a little, for lack of a better term, a little freaked out over maybe seeing something going on here in my office while I'm trying to talk to them. So unless absolutely necessary, I try not to do that. And then there's another reason why I try not to do that too much, because there's a lot of people that claim to be like me that are out there that are charging big money to do Zoom and Skype deliverances, over-the-phone deliverances for a lot of money. And it's just, it's giving our field a black eye and a bad rep. So you have to really be careful, because we don't charge for our ministry work. Never have, never will. And so if you're gonna do a Skype and Zoom type of thing, you've got to be very careful.
Yeah, good point. Mark, I'm going to throw it to you.
Tony, you might be getting more calls about people in crisis. I don't know how to respond to in their house being haunted, but I don't know if it's really just this time of the year, or I do think it's related to like the zombie apocalypse you were talking about earlier, with just the insanity of 2020. If you wanted to look for a silver lining this year, there are also a lot more people checking in on each other, if this is part of a global conspiracy, bioweapon, elitist way to enforce Agenda 2030, people are fighting back. Do you see that through your social media that there are people have changed their behaviors to be more positive than they were, say, about Christmas time last year?
Well, there's an old saying. It might not be as old as I think it is. It's something I've said for a long time. Ghosts and demons don't take the holidays off. And the holiday time, for whatever reason, can also seem a lot more active than any other time of the year. This, I mean, throw out all of the, the manuals on how to go about handling situations with this year, because it's just when you think you have a handle on it, when I think I've seen it all and heard it all, something comes across my desk or is presented to me that I haven't seen yet or experienced before, and people are just you're right, they're all over the place. There's a lot of despair right now, and there's a lot of anger, and I don't know, you mentioned people fighting back. Are we on the verge of a civil war? I'm not a violent man, but, you have to protect your family and your home and yourself. God gave us free will to do that. There's nothing wrong with doing that. Do I hope that there's not a civil war? Absolutely. But, things are very ugly right now, and I just hope that I'm in constant prayer that once the new year kicks in, it's just, something happens, and I believe it could be vaccine related, that just kicks us into a new, more positive direction. People getting better, people becoming immune, lockdowns being lifted. My heart breaks for all the people out there that have lost their jobs, lost their businesses, starving, and the government at times seems like they don't care. My wife and I have been blessed that our day job is at a very busy animal hospital here in Vegas. We have been in the animal care industry most of our adult life. She's the office manager, and I'm a veterinary technician at the same animal hospital. So that was a business that was considered essential. So even though I was furloughed for about 2.5 months right in the beginning, she never stopped working, 6 days a week, 10-hour shifts. And so as scary as it is to send her out every day to work, and even myself to go to work 3-4 nights a week, where at a job like that there's no social distancing, if you can imagine, doctors and nurses and taking care of animals and clients coming in and out, it's very scary. But flip side of that coin, we've been blessed to have that job because we're still able to pay our mortgage, put food on the table, survive. And there's a lot of people out there that don't have it that good, and it's just sad. It's the year 2020, and it's as bad as it's ever been that I can ever remember. Looking back in the history books, the Great Depression, other bad times, other pandemics that we've suffered. And maybe I'm speaking wrong there, and you guys, anybody listening can correct me later if there's been some other real bad times, but we're in some bad times right now. So me, I fall back on all the basics for me. My strength is my faith, a lot of prayer, and don't pray just for yourself. Pray for your fellow man, and just pray for God and all the angels to come down and help clean this up. There's definitely a demonic influence that has infiltrated the world like a cancer, and I don't know if that caused us to get in the situation we're in, or if it took advantage of the situation and now has snuck in and is just taking over. But it's very, on a spiritual level, I see it every day. It's a very, very scary time.
Oh, this is in the middle of spiritual warfare big time, and you're the kind of folks that we need to get some direction from. Pastor Sean, hang on. We've got to take a break here at the top of the hour, and then we'll have one more hour to go. I apologize again for having to kick you off later than normal because of the strangeness that happened at the beginning of our shows, but I think it was well worth it for all of us. And we'll be right back after this with more Spaced Out Sunday. As soon as I can get to my commercials, there we go. Okay, folks, we'll be right back after this.
Hey, Space Travelers, this is John Resnick, founder of the Chive and Chive Charities. If you know anything about our website, you know we like to do things a little differently. We're not some faceless organization collecting money for a nebulous cause. Our donor dollars go directly toward life-improving items. Then we give those items directly to an underdog who needs it most. To become a donor with Spaced Out Radio's official charity, Chive Charities, just go to chivecharities.org/donate.
Are you an experiencer of something strange that can't be explained? Do you want help finding out what's going on? I'm Ryan Stacy, head of the Experiencer Support Association, otherwise known as TESSA. We've teamed up with Spaced Out Radio to investigate cases filled out in the SOR Sightlines report. We are independent and there's no cost to what we do. All we need is your experience. Let's find out what's happening together on the SOR Sightlines report.
We are scouring the world for the most intriguing stories of your day. Take the time to read up on the SOR Newswire, where our team, led by Captain Shirk, will deliver to you some of the best paranormal and supernatural news, along with some stories that will blow your mind from the weird to the wacky. It's the news outside the news that piques interest, and that's what we're looking to deliver to you. The SOR Newswire, only at spacedoutradio.com.
Hi there, this is Dave Scott, and I'm bringing you the Woo every Monday through Friday on Spaced Out Radio. I'm going all out to bring you the strangest, oddest stories and subjects I could find for your entertainment. Why? Because when we hit peak Woo, I know I've done my job. So come tune us in at spacedoutradio.com, 9:06 Pacific, 12:06 a.m. Eastern, and together, my friends, we own the night.
The SOR Vault is open for business, and do we have some cool swag for you to pick up? All you have to do is head over to our website and click on the SOR Vault. You have a variety of cool logos to choose from, and put them on anything you want. T-shirts, hoodies, hats, coffee mugs, you name it, we can get it to you. So do your shopping by supporting the store you love. Get your Spaced Out Radio swag at the SOR Vault today.
If you like it hot, real hot, then heat up your meals with Bumblefoot hot sauce.
Get your Bumblefoot hot sauce today. The sauce, Bumblicious, and the 4 million Scoville unit Bumble. We're going in hot, real hot, coming out even hotter.
Keep the milk nearby and tantalize your taste buds tonight.
Bumblefoot hot sauce, available now at kajans.com.
Hello, Space Travelers. It's me again, Carl. Don't forget to join the Space Travelers Club for just $5 a month and follow Spaced Out Radio on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio. Our Instagram, Dave Scott SOR. Our Facebook page is Spaced Out Radio Show. Our archives are free at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Come woo it up with Spaced Out Radio today. Bye!
We all know on Spaced Out Radio we love a good beard and mustache, so why not take care of your facial hair with Mighty Moose Beard Oil? Made in Canada, we're taking care of beards and stashes around the world. We use 100% natural ingredients with our oils and balms to make your whiskers feel silky smooth. Use promo code SOR2019 at MightyMooseBeard.com today.
Looking for creative ways to get your company out in the public? How about advertising on Spaced Out Radio? Our sales department is waiting to hear from you, and we can work around any budget. From commercial spots to banners to special promotions, there are many opportunities to get your name and product out to our SOR listeners. For a price guide and more information, please contact us at sales@spaced-out-radio.com.
Get your horns up with me on Spaced Out Radio. This is Ron Bumblefoot Thal. Come tune in to SOR where you can hear me rock out with Little Brother Is Watching, the official theme song of Spaced Out Radio. And then come on over to bumblefoot.com where you can find out about my tour schedule, my music, and everything else. Bumblefoot.com keeps you up to date on what I'm doing and the best way to stay in touch with my music and music camps. Sign up for my newsletter at bumblefoot.com and remember, Little Brother Is Watching.
Hi, this is Amber Beckrud, and I want to invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel where we store all of the SOR show archives for free. And as an added bonus, every 2 weeks I'm posting brand new content on Cryptid Tales, where I will get into some of the spookier legends and folklore from around the world and tell the stories that go with them. Find us at youtube.com/spacedoutradio and check out Cryptid Tales today. Drop a comment and let me know what you want to hear. See you there.
For the price of 1 cup of coffee a month, you can become an SOR Space Traveler. The Space Travelers Club is a place where you can interact with other listeners, either live during the show or on our great forum. We want your stories, pictures, comments, and ideas. You'll get live video streams, exclusive content, and be a part of our newsletter. Stay in touch with everything SOR. The Space Travelers Club is just $5 a month at spacedoutradio.com.
Hey everyone, I'm John Edwards.
And I'm Stacey Edwards. Together we're taking over Saturday nights on Spaced Out Radio, where we're going to bring our own experiences of the paranormal and talk to the best people we can find to help bring you answers to your strange tales.
We're here to entertain your need for weekend woo! So tune us in at spacedoutradio.com starting at 9:06 Pacific, 12:06 a.m. Eastern, where we can all get a little spooky together.
Spaced Out Saturday nights right here at spacedoutradio.com.
My hands can feel good. I'm free. I'm remembering who I am. My hands can feel good. I'm free. I'm remembering who I am.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the third and final hour of Spaced Out Sunday. I am your host, Michael W. Hall. Thanks for being with us. We welcome back everyone listening in on our terrestrial affiliates, WQEE 99.1 FM in Noonan, Georgia, and UPRN 107.7 FM in New Orleans. On the digital side, we are on Revolution Radio. And don't forget, you can always check our archives for free at youtube.com/spacedoutradio. Do us all a favor, hit that subscribe button. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you, including rocking out to some Bumblefoot and shopping at our Spaced Out Radio store, catching up on SOR Newswire, and so much more. And we are back with the Reverend Sean and my co-host, Mark Eddy. And oh my word, there is so much stuff going on this one show tonight. I don't know where to go next, but Reverend Sean, thank you for doing double duty tonight. Tell us a little bit about your own podcast and how things are going there.
Well, it was a pleasure. Like I said, I wish I could have jumped on earlier, but I did catch the tail end of your first guest. That seemed really... I'm kicking myself in the rear for not joining you guys earlier and just sitting back and enjoying the show. It was a real pleasure to sit in and listen to you guys talk with Michael from Hot Tuna fame. That was great.
It's classic stuff. Sean. Literally, I'm a baby boomer. I'm a little bit older than Michael Falzarano, but we grew up in New York City. He did. He's they went to California, all that kind of stuff, but. The rock music that he was talking about, and that he actually lived his life, from band to band to band. I mean, the classic bands, and now to come up with a Christmas album that is nothing but new Christmas music Christmas tunes that he has created with some interesting twists with all of his rock and roll buddies playing on the album, the Kaleidoscope Christmas. I can't wait to get a hold of it myself.
Absolutely. So that was a pleasure. Yeah, this was a good show for you tonight. You're covering all the angles, and me, nothing much new to tell, although my Sunday show, which is Reverend Sean Whittington's Paranormal Ministry, is currently on vacation. We decided a few weeks back to take the holidays off, but I return next year on a new day and a new time. It'll be on Fridays at 2 p.m. starting New Year's Day, December 1st. Friday, December 1st, New Year's Day.
You mean January 1st, obviously.
I'm sorry, January 1st, 2021, New Year's Day, Friday, 2 p.m. The show, you can catch it on Reverend Sean Whittington's Paranormal Ministry Facebook Live page, the Reverend Sean Whittington YouTube channel, and I'm working on a couple of other special locations to have it live streamed too. And so that starts New Year's Day. Well, so I had the day off actually today, so I had no excuse not to come on earlier.
Oh, no problem. Well, tell us a little bit about what we're going to look forward to for your new series, your new show.
It's going to be a lot like the show I do on Monday nights, Vegas Supernatural on KCOR. I just celebrated my 5-year anniversary there. That's Monday nights at 5 p.m. And it's basically a lot. The shows are both very similar, except for one. Obviously, Monday night's just audio. It's a radio show. And Friday will be audio and camera, on-camera live stream. So they're both basically the same. I bring on a nice guest who I admire and respect, who I think is making a difference in this crazy thing that we do called the paranormal community, and I introduce them to my viewers and my listeners, and try to ask them questions that they haven't been asked 1,000 times before, and I invite audience participation. And
tell us a little bit about the paranormal community out there in Vegas near Area 51, all that kind of stuff. I have a good friend, of course, Connie West, who runs the Little Alien out there next to Area 51. It is just a unique community as far as I can tell in your area. Tell us a little bit about that.
Have you been to the Little Alien?
I podcasted live 5 full days from the Little Alien during the storming of Area 51. I was one of the only podcasters there full time, with the rest of the press from around the world, by the way, literally from Al Jazeera to the Soviet Union and Europe, South America, even out there in the Asian countries showed up with their press. But it was an amazing experience last summer.
Yeah, I love it out there. I don't get out there very often. I was out there many, many years ago on a motorcycle rally, of all things. But, yeah, that area is wonderful. And Vegas, people think it's all about Zach Baggins and his Haunted Museum and his show Ghost Adventures. But there was a paranormal community out here long before him, and there still is a thriving paranormal community here, and there'll be one here long after his show's off the air and his museum closes down. It's not as close-knit as I'd like to see it. There were, we had a team out here that I have a lot of respect for, Elite Vegas Paranormal. They had a couple of Paracons here, 2 or 3 Paracons over a 2 or 3 year period of time. And it just didn't seem to take off. I really had great hopes that it would take off and we would start having that yearly thing where, people in our field from all over the world would come to Vegas once a year and hang out at the convention, and we'd get to know each other and rub elbows and talk shop and have a good time. But it didn't work out, although the 3 Paracons that he pulled off were wonderful and great experiences. So it's not as close-knit as I'd like to see it, but we all know each other. We all, most of us are, at the very least, Facebook friends, so we message back and forth, and pick each other's brains, refer cases out to one another when possible. And
You know what I've been working on, Sean, for that area out where you are, is something that I've called for the last couple of years disclosure aid, where like Farm Aid, like the concerts where rock musicians get together for a charitable cause. I thought it would be great to literally have a music video put together, kind of like an anthem kind of deal, and have all the different bands show up to do a fundraiser for UFO alien disclosure. And what a better place to put it than in the middle of Las Vegas, close to Area 51. Wouldn't that have been fun? We might have to get together later on to talk about what we could do eventually down the road to get to the idea of raising money for the disclosure of the truth.
absolutely, that's a great idea. I'm open to any suggestions and any input that I feel could be put to good use. I'll throw it in there. Or anything you need from me as far as help-wise, I'll do my best. A lot of people think Vegas is just all about the casinos. My wife and I hardly ever go down there. We've been out here many years. But there's a different life outside the Strip, although Vegas is very haunted. Casinos are haunted. There's a lot of haunted areas on the outskirts of town and even further out, ghost towns and things of that nature. But it's a very paranormally active city, for real.
Oh, definitely. Oh, my word. Can you imagine the ghost of Frank Sinatra, Sammy Davis Jr.? Who else could be out there? But, Mark, I'm going to throw it back to you at this point because I'm hogging the show here. You're my co-host.
Okay. Sean, you do. I know you have your international tour canceled this year. You are hoping to do an international trip to the British Isles. When you're interacting with people in the British Isles, are they coming to different conclusions on the paranormal? Do people on both sides of the ponds reach the same conclusions, maybe by different ways, or the EMF meters and other gadgets that you might be taking with you? Are people in Europe using similar, different materials and gadgets?
I find us all to have a lot more in common than you would think. And we all seem to have similar approaches. Some people have different techniques, but the intent is there. People that have been doing it a long time, I find, will be the first to tell you that there are no experts. Nobody has all the answers, and that it's still, a pseudoscience trying to prove the existence of life after death and the existence of ghosts and demons and angels and all that stuff. People who've actually experienced it really are the only ones that know what that is all about and what truly that is like. There's a lot of people that come into the field that are just as passionate about it as someone who's experienced those things, and even if they haven't experienced it, they have a passion. Something draws them to this field to want to investigate and search and try to get some answers to the unknown. So I don't really find much differences. I'm going to enjoy having my Friday show only because there's so many friends of mine in the UK that I haven't been able to interview in many years, because by the 5 o'clock on a Monday night, it's 2 a.m. the following morning there in the UK. It's hard to get somebody to stay up that late to be there. But, Friday's going to work out good. I've been talking to a lot of my UK friends, and they're going to plan on being on my Friday show, because 2 p.m. Pacific, it's 10 p.m. there on a Friday, and if they've got the weekend off, they're up having a pint or two, relaxing, ready to sit down and have a nice chat with me. But not a whole lot of difference between continents, and I interview people from all over the world, and we all have one thing in common, just a passion for the unknown and investigating the unknown. And if we're experiencers that talk to each other have a little bit of an unspoken bond there, because we seem to know. But I love talking to the young new generation coming up, passing the torch, so to speak, and just a very, very interesting field. But not much differences. We all pretty much same type of equipment. I'm a very old school guy, and there's new equipment coming out all the time, but I'm not a big equipment guy. I think you are your best tool. Personal experiences, and you, especially my wife being as sensitive, intuitive as I am, we find we are our best tools. And a lot of people in the field that have been doing it for a long time that have those types of gifts will tell you the same thing, that equipment is equipment is equipment. None of it still really proves anything, although they can be fascinating to see what type of evidence you get off of some of these things. ITC is big right now, but I'm not a big fan. But it just kind of seems to be like a big family. There's a lot of drama, I'm going to throw it out there. There's a lot of drama, as there is in any field. But if you can get beyond that and not let that drag you down and not get caught up in the drama, then it can be a very rewarding field. But you have to have the passion for it. If you don't have the passion for it, if you're hoping to get a TV show out of it, you're in it for the wrong reasons.
Well, Reverend Sean, you brought up something very interesting about the younger generation, and you trying to pass the torch along to them as far as your skills and your awareness. How do you find the younger generations when it comes to the paranormal like this?
Well, for a while there, I didn't hear from any of them. I thought maybe they thought I was some freaky old coot who was unapproachable. I try to be as smiley-faced and jovial, because this business is, the paranormal, and if you are being haunted, being tormented by the demonic or what have you, it can be very frightening. And a lot of my clients are ghost hunters that jumped into this for all the wrong reasons, found themselves at the wrong place at the wrong time, said and did the wrong thing, ended up with an attachment, brought it home. Now their world is turned upside down and they're reaching out to me for help. But occasionally I get reached out to by a young team just forming. They've been together for a few years. And when I say young, I mean, young. I'm 62. So we're talking, young. Late teens, 20s, 30s. I consider that the new generation. And I love that when they reach out to me. Rev, would you come on my podcast? Rev, my name is so-and-so. My team is this, and we do this. Do you have any, recommendations for how to handle this kind of case or how to approach that kind of case? And I really love that. It makes you feel like, I'm going to try to adequately put this into words. It makes you just feel like you're doing something right. And but for a while there, I wasn't having any of the new generation reach out to me, and I was thinking maybe I was just a scary guy. And I try not to be scary.
What is your main goal or advice when you talk to these young people who have that burning desire and they want to do something good, for the problem out there? What do you tell them?
Well, I try to figure out if they truly have a passion for it, and even if I suspect that they don't, I'm still not going to say anything like I think you've picked the wrong hobby. Most people, I've been lucky, most people reach out to me. I can tell that they're very passionate. They've either been experiencing paranormal activity all their lives, and they jumped into it for that reason. They want to find out some of their own personal answers, or they've had people close to them, family members or close friends, that have had some pretty awful experiences, frightening experiences when it comes to the paranormal, and maybe they've reached out to them for help and they didn't know how to help their friend or their family member. So that gets them into this field, wanting to try and find out answers, not only for their loved one or their friend, but for themselves also. And then the passion just grows from there. It usually, bottom line, is people are in it just to help each other. Because usually when people get into this field, it's to either find answers for themselves or for someone close to them that they love. And that's where the passion grows from.
Are you finding that these young kids are maybe more open to this stuff than we were, or what?
Really, really young kids. Like, I was seeing spirit when I was like 4 and 5. So I think the young children are more susceptible and more open to it. Unfortunately, a lot of parents aren't. So you have parents that tend to... I had a great support group with my family growing up. They never, tried to make me feel like I was crazy or, don't talk about that, you're imagining things. But there's a lot of kids playing with their imaginary friend, and it's not so imaginary after all, but the parents are in denial. Flip side of that coin, it's very, how do you go about encouraging that in your child without it becoming something that is very unacceptable? It's a fine line. The parent not only accepting it, but how do you instruct your child on how to handle it? So for a while, I think, depending on the age of the child, keep it within the family. I usually say, be open, be supportive, but keep it within the family. And then as the child grows up and gets a little older, let them make their decision. And if they want to, for lack of a better term, come out of the closet with it. I wasted many, many years and hid me seeing ghosts from everybody other than my immediate family. And even then, I got the feeling from them that, we believe you, but you probably shouldn't talk to the neighbors about this. So I didn't really come out of the closet with it until many, many years later. So I wasted probably a lot of good years of ghost busting because I, didn't want to tell my friends that I had a passion for that and have them think I was weirder than they already thought I was. So it's a fine line, but I find a lot of people reach out to me, parents, my sons, or my daughters playing with an imaginary friend, and I don't think it's so imaginary after all. What should we do? And so the very young ones seem to be very, very more so open to it than as they get older. They kind of tend to shut it off.
Okay, we got 2 minutes before the bottom of the hour here. Mark, you want to ask one more question before the commercial?
Is studying the paranormal a spiritual exercise? Like, maybe if we're kind of looking at the possibility of these interdimensional portals, wouldn't that mean that God created them? Doesn't that bring us like a better understanding of God?
That's a very interesting question. I think someone like me will appreciate that question more so than somebody that doesn't have a religious belief system in place. And being religious doesn't work for everybody. I tell a lot of my friends that don't have a religious belief system in place that reach out to me. I'm having some unusual issues happening to me right now, and I need some help with that. Well, if you believe that you have some unusual paranormal experiences happening to you, and God forbid, of a malevolent nature, and you're scared to death, there has to be a yin to that yang. There has to be a higher, more vibrational power of love and light watching over us, a creator, if you will, that is opposite of that. So if you want to call it God, if you want to call it, many of my indigenous friends call it Mother Earth, or the Great Father, and maybe it's the same God I pray to, maybe it's not. But, open yourself up to that. many people in my field, in the delivery ministry field, don't believe in ghosts. It's either angels or demons, and that's it. There's no such thing as ghosts. So it's personal preference, but me personally, the paranormal world is all about spirituality and the belief in a spirit world and something waiting for us after this. There's got to be something waiting for us after this. I've seen it. I've experienced it. We can do a whole series on some of the things I've seen and experienced that, to me at least, has proven that there's something after this.
Well, we've got another segment to go right after our commercial break right now, and when we come back, we might get into some of those details there, Reverend Sean. Thank you, Mark. We're going to be right back, folks, after more of Spaced Out Radio after this.
Look no further than Spaced Out Saturday right here at spacedoutradio.com. I'm Stacey Edwards.
And I'm John Edwards. Each Saturday night, Stacey and I are going to bring you the best in paranormal, cryptids, UFOs, you name it, and we're going there.
It's all about the experience and to share the knowledge with all of you.
So tune us in every Saturday night on Spaced Out Saturdays, starting at 9:06 p.m. Pacific, 12:06 a.m. Eastern, only at spacedoutradio.com.
I'm feeling a little spicy tonight. What to do?
Why not get Bumblefuck?
4 million Scoville units of pure hard rock. Bumblefoot hot sauces come in 3 flavors. The burning Bumble. Tone it down a bit with Bumblicious and throw the sauce on everything.
Spice it up. Bumble me, baby. Bumblefoot hot sauce. Get it today at kajans.com.
Are you looking for great advertising value for your company? Look no further than Spaced Out Radio. We have a multitude of places to get your name out there, including commercial ads during the show, special promotions, and banners on our website. Our audience is proven to support the companies that support our show. We can make your budget work for you. So for more information, please contact us at sales@spacedoutradio.com.
Hey everybody, the SOR Space Travelers is open. For just $5 a month, you can hang out with Dave and our crew privately in our members-only section. With your signing, you'll receive newsletters on what's going on with Spaced Out Radio. You'll have direct contact with the host during the show in our chat, live streaming videos, and a great forum for your posts and more. Become a space traveler now at spacedoutradio.com.
You wanted new SOR gear, and now you can have it. The SOR Vault is fully stocked with t-shirts, hats, hoodies, mugs, and everything in between with great logos for you to choose from. So head on over to spacedoutradio.com, click on the SOR Vault, and go shopping. Pricing is quite affordable, and you can look good representing your favorite show. So go to our website and pick up your new SOR wear at the SOR Vault today.
Are you addicted to the woo? Good. Me too. This is Dave Scott, and you can woo it up with me every Monday through Friday, starting at 9:06 Pacific, 12:06 a.m. Eastern, for 3 hours of great entertainment in the subjects you love. UFOs, ghosts, cryptids, intuition. Yes, we hit it all 5 days a week. Look for us at spacedoutradio.com, where together, my friends, we own the night.
At spacedoutradio.com, we are keeping you up to date on all the news with the SOR Newswire. Captain Shirk leads the team that is bringing you the news of the day and exclusive stories on everything paranormal and supernatural. It's free to read, it's updated daily, and it's right there for you. The SOR Newswire is a one-stop shop for the news of the day. Check it out at spacedoutradio.com today.
Hello everyone, this is Ryan Stacy from the Experiencer Support Association, otherwise known as TESSA. We're glad to team up with Spaced Out Radio to help investigate your experiences on the SOR Sightlines Report. Together, we'll investigate the strange sightings and occurrences you've had. We're looking for answers just like you. So fill out a Sightlines Report on the Spaced Out Radio website and let's figure out what's going on together.
Hey Spaced Out Radio fans, It's John Resig, founder of the Chive and Chive Charities. Our goal is to make the life of veterans, first responders, and those with rare medical conditions 10% happier. We do this by donating one grant item, ranging from dance to therapy programs to prosthetic limbs, to those who need it most. To contribute to Spaced Out Radio's official charity, head over to chivecharities.org and become a donor today.
Hello, this is your guitar man, Ron Bumblefoot Thal, and I have to tell you, I love the response I get for Little Brother is Watching from Spaced Out Radio fans. It's amazing how music can inspire and make people think deeper about what's going on in the supernatural world. You can head over to my website, bumblefoot.com, to check out my music, my guitar workshops, my touring, even check out some of the hot sauces that I'm working on. And make sure you keep on listening, because with Spaced Out Radio, you know Little Brother is watching.
From the heartlands of Canada to beards around the world, we know how to take care of you. Fill your follicles with the Mighty Moose Beard Oil. All our oils and balms are handmade and 100% natural ingredients because we care about your beard. And hey, use the promo code SOR2019 and get your Mighty Moose Beard Oil today. You can check us out on our website, mightymoosebeard.com.
We're adding to the entertainment online for Spaced Out Radio. I'm Amber Beckrud, and I want to invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel and check out Cryptid Tales, where I will take you on a journey into some of the strangest legends and lore from around the world, relaying the stories to you of the strange creatures and experiences that people have had throughout time. You can find Cryptid Tales at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio, and while you're there, don't forget to check out our free archives and leave a comment. See you there.
And we are back here on Spaced Out Sunday with the Reverend Sean Whittington and my co-host Mark Eddy. Sean, during the last segment of our show now, we've got about 30 minutes, a little bit less than that left. I always like to ask my guest, what have we not talked about that maybe you would like to make sure that we mention about your ministry, about your programs coming up? I want to make sure we cover everything that you would like to cover.
Well, it's funny. It's really funny that a couple of times you've referred to me as Whittingham instead of Whittington, and I got a funny story about that.
I'm sorry.
Family, no, that's okay, because back in the day, I'm going way, way back now. We're talking Knights Templar time.
Oh.
There was a French knight that left France who was suspected to be a Templar and is suspected to have religious relics in his possession, and he fled to northern Scotland. He started Clan Douglas. Clan Douglas, a branch off of that family, became Clan Whittingham, and then Clan Whittingham migrated south into northern England and became Whittington. So there is Whittingham in my bloodline, so I think it's some spirit is in you trying to get me a message to look into that for some reason.
And isn't that interesting with the Knights Templar in your background as well?
Yeah, it was very interesting. I still have a family castle in England, Shropshire, England, Castle Whittington, and I'm hoping to go there and visit one day. A very haunted castle, and it's rumored that the Holy Grail was once buried there, and that castle has great history with Knights of the Round Table and the Templars and the Lords of Whittington. And there was a clergy, there's a lot of, my family lineage is a long line of warriors for Christ, and one man of the cloth who was a knight who had the last name of Whittington was rumored to have left England when the search for the Grail was very, probably at that time at a peak, and it was suspected that it might be found, and he got it out of the country, apparently buried it somewhere in Maryland. Maybe it's the Grail, maybe it's something different, but definitely something of significant religious significance, relic, of, if you will. So, but it's interesting that you've said that twice now, and so I'm thinking there's somebody, and I recently had I spotted an apparition of a classic English spirit here in the house, and so I'm thinking, you may not be aware of it, but I'm thinking there's a reason why something's had you say that name to me twice tonight. So I'm going to have to,
yeah,
I'm going to have to open the psychic channels later and see if there's a message I need to get for that. But
well, that is interesting. You're right. Now, your understanding of the actual Holy Grail itself, there is a lot of folks who have different theories on whether this is the chalice that Jesus, drank from during the Last Supper. What is your understanding of what the Holy Grail would actually be if it was an artifact?
I don't know, and that's the most honest I can tell you. I feel it's either the cup that he drank out of and passed his blood amongst the apostles at the Last Supper. It also could be the cup that gathered some of his blood from his side while he was up on the cross.
Yeah.
So I don't know for sure. I don't know. I mean, there's some people that are no longer with us that do know for sure what it was. We'll all you and I are going to be having this discussion at the large round bar in heaven one day, and we will we'll laugh about all the things we didn't know that we'll know then. But I find all of that very interesting. But I'm hoping to get back to my family castle one day. But anything anybody wants to know about me or my wife and our ministry work, you can find out at the website www.ghost-b-gone.biz. And in addition to being an ordained exorcist, I'm also a certified spiritual advisor, intuitive coach. If you're having issues of a spiritual nature not attached to the paranormal, there's a place there on the website where you can make an appointment to speak with me about those issues. You'll find the Worldwide Society of Exorcists on there. I offer a 12-week online course, Introduction to Spiritual Warfare, through the Worldwide Society of Exorcists that you can enroll in there. That's a 12-week online course. It is college level, so all my graduates get a stunning diploma along with some blessed parting gifts that you can only get from yours truly upon graduation. And you'll find my book there, God, Ghosts, and the Paranormal Ministry. If you buy the book there, it's a little more expensive, but it does come autographed, enclosed in a house blessing kit. You can get it cheaper at Amazon. There's rumor that I do have the books you buy at the website are rumored to be haunted. Because they sit here in the house, and we do have a lot of spirit here. There's a picture of a entity that I captured that's in the book, and I've had readers reach out to me after purchasing the book from me that have said they've seen that entity in their home after having purchased the book through me. I've had no one from Amazon yet say that to me, but I find that mind-blowing. I don't know if the power of suggestion there has gone ballistic or if there's something true there. But my wife and I have both seen the apparition. I have a picture of it. It's in the book. And it just blew me away when I started getting some phone calls from people who had purchased it from directly from me that said they saw that apparition that's in the book in their home. So,
oh, that's either a bonus or a curse. Who knows?
Yeah, absolutely. Nothing malevolent to the apparition. We've seen it here. In fact, where I'm sitting right now is probably the most active area in the home. My wife walks by the office many times and actually sees me here working, and then she'll go to another area of the home only to run into the real me. And she'll say, I just saw you working in the office. And whenever that happens, we almost always see the apparition of the young child from that picture in the book come out of the office, walk through our home, and out our back door. But we've never felt any malevolent presence attached to that entity. So we're still wondering what that particular apparition is all about. But there's several of them here. Nothing that we find all playful. I had a good friend come over not too long ago who's doing some plumbing work for me. and he doesn't believe in ghosts. And so he said, while wanted to go out and grab a cigarette because I don't like any smoking in the house. And he said, "Oh, by the way, I want to talk to you about your ghost busting work." And he just went on and on about there's no such things as ghosts, yada yada yada. Next thing I know, he gets pale, and his arms are all goosebumpy, and the hairs are standing up on end. And he goes, all of a sudden I don't feel very good. I'm gonna go out and get some fresh air. Now the front door, the deadbolt was off, the doorknob was unlocked. He went over to the front door and he couldn't open it. And the harder he tried, the more panicky he started to get. And finally, just jokingly, I called out. I said, "Hey, everyone, I've known this guy all my life. He's a good friend of mine. Let him out." As soon as I said that, he turns the doorknob. The door opens up. He walks outside. He went to his truck, got in it, started it up, drove off, and he hasn't been back since.
Oh, I'll bet. Oh, man. What a good...
it is what it is. If you're not used to that type of thing, it can be quite alarming to you. But I haven't even I don't think we've spoken since then. I would like to know what his answer would be if I ask him now.
Yeah.
If he believes in ghosts.
Oh, my. Well, Mark, I'm going to throw it to you.
All right. Tonight's show was designed to be a Christmas show.
Merry Christmas.
Yes.
God bless you both.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, exactly. We gotta get end on a positive note for sure. But go ahead, Mark.
This is what real quick, Mark. I don't mean to interrupt you, but let me just say this real quick on that note. It's in my line of work. Every day is Christmas. My wife and I have our Christmas tree up, fully decorated, 24/7, 365 days a year.
All right.
It's up in our living room. So on that note, I just want to also tell people out there that are really depressed at this time, if you just throw on a mask that you don't have to worry about getting in a fight with your neighbor, just do it. Throw on a mask, go out and take a walk. Come home. Get the CD that they had earlier on the show today. Start listening to some music. Stop watching the news. The news is depressing. You can do things to snap yourself out of this bad vibe. You can't go to church. You can worship at home. Start reading the Bible. Start worshiping at home. Start watching comedies. Reach out to your inner circle of support group, family, close friends. Stay in contact. Don't become a recluse and hide away. That's depressing also. You've got to fight back these feelings. And we're talking about the birth of Christ is just around the corner. And it's just a wonderful time of year. As depressing as it can be for some people, it's supposed to not be. It's supposed to be a wonderful time. And with everything going on, if you're feeling that way, pick up the phone, call somebody. And I'll hand it back over to you, Mark.
Yeah, the isolation's not good, and even though there's baby Jesus in the manger and Joseph and Mary, the wise men did show up. So there is really no, promotion of isolation as punishment in the Bible. There's a lot of good get-together stories in there. So I did want to just follow through with what you were saying. But tonight's show was a Christmas-themed show. The topics were captivating. I don't know how much continuity was there, but it's been a great evening.
Absolutely. Guys, anytime I have a chance to talk, I look at it this way. Like I said, there's no coincidences. There's a reason why the three of us are here tonight, and we're all good people with big hearts. We love the people that we love. We love life. We're passionate about just, all coming out of this funk that we're in. and it just leading to bigger and better things for humanity. And we're all in this together, and it's going to happen. We just have to have a little faith. Trust me when I say the power of prayer is a very real thing. The power of faith, whatever that faith is that you put your faith in, it can be very powerful. Even if you just get down on your knees and openly ask for whoever it is you do pray for. And if you don't pray to anybody, but you need some help, ask for anybody that's listening of love and light, that's of the good, to come and to intervene in your life right now and pick you up and help you, point you in the right direction and cover you in love and light and protect you and fill you full of love, which right now everything seems to be wanting to drain. We're like one arm, all the love is being drained out of us, and somebody's infusing all hate. And so you've got to fight that. You've got to fight that.
Reverend Sean, do you find that people that are professed atheists still have this problem with depression, with potential demonic beings, or is it only faith-based folks that that come to you?
I've had everybody. At one time or another, I've had someone from just about every other religious belief system come to me for help. The first thing I always ask is, do you belong to a church? Why didn't you go there for help? And the answer usually is, I did, but nobody there was able to help me. So I don't judge, and I try to help the best way that I can. And it's funny that you bring that up. I've had many people reach out to me that absolutely didn't believe in anything, but now they've got something that's trying to kill them, and or kill someone close to them, or turning their life upside down, or just latched onto their back like a hunchback, like an energy vampire, just sucking the life force out of them and making them want to do very bad things. And all of a sudden now they believe in something. They don't know what they believe in, but they believe in something. So if I can just turn that around in baby steps, you don't have to believe in God. But if you acknowledge that you came to me for help with something that is frightening you, then you have to believe that there is something that you can ask for help. And let's figure out a way that we can, put a name on that or not, but pray to that, put out some positive vibes, what have you, and try and harness that and turn that situation around.
Do you, for spiritual believers, enroll their guardian angels or something like that? Do you believe that there are those kinds of entities that are looking out for our best interests?
Absolutely. I've seen mine twice. My father, who was a 25-year retired Master Chief Radio Man in World War II, Korea, finished his career in naval intelligence. He told the story many, many times of how his guardian angel saved his life one time when he was on a ship that got sunk by the enemy, and he was floating in the ocean all by himself overnight, hanging onto a piece of wood. And when the rescue boat came the following day, he didn't have the strength to get on there. And after they picked up those survivors, they were getting ready to get underway and take off, and he was still in the water. And he tells the story of how his guardian angel grabbed him and threw him onto the ship, and no one else witnessed it. And when he went to go ask for that sailor and thank him for saving his life, there was no sailor that even fit that description. And corpsmen and sailors on that boat said, 1 second you weren't on the deck, the next second you were there. And so he told that story many times in detail. I tell that story in my book because I've told people many times I was created to be on the path that I'm on today, and that was a decision made before I was even conceived, and it because of my father and something else that happened to him later on after the war, and a promise my mother made to God when my father was dying of an incurable disease. All led to me being conceived, and so it's I have no doubt any of that. All of the above. Check all the boxes off. I believe in it all. It's okay if you don't. It's okay if you don't,
Yeah. Oh, my word. So the idea being that there were at least twice and probably more times where your father might have died well before you were even conceived and born, but there was a reason why he was saved by a guardian angel or God to make sure that you got here and are doing what you're doing right now.
My mother wasn't supposed to have any more children. The birth of my second oldest sister almost killed her, and so there was no plans to have any other children, but she made a deal with God. If you save my husband's life, and he was dying of an incurable disease, if you save him, I will crawl on my hands and knees to church the rest of my life whenever I go until I'm too old to do it, which she did. But her other part of the bargain was I'll have another child. So my father miraculously came out of that disease with no traces of it at all in his system any longer, and my mom kept her end of the bargain. She went ahead and had another child, and ta-da! 62 years later, you're talking to him.
Oh, my word. What a great story. I love those birth stories that you get told as a child. My mother has told me a few myself, and they're quite impressionable when you hear them as a kid growing up.
Absolutely, yeah.
Awesome. Last question, Mark, maybe?
No, I really enjoyed this opportunity of being on Spaced Out Sundays and Spaced Out Radio Network. Probably you and Dave could put me in a box and put me up in the Spaced Out Radio attic for another year, but I was just really glad to have this chance to work with you to put together a unique Christmas show, and everyone just really contributed amazing information, no matter how diverse it was. And
oh, man. Mark, like I said, I think I'm going to nominate you myself for a Cosmo Award from the Academy of Paranormal Arts and Sciences for this show alone, because it started out with, as you well know, Sean, it started out with Peter Davenport like we normally do, and he brought on a guest by the name of Marty Manetto. Oh, my word, 1955 sighting of an alien and a spaceship, and then later on as an F-14 fighter pilot, he literally comes into close contact with an orb that's following him like a bogey. Of course, then we had the rock and roll legend Michael Falzarano on from, rock bands galore, and now coming out with a brand new Christmas album. And then we have the paranormal pastor, Shawn Whittington is his name, and I'm going to get that right one of these days. Thank you, Shawn, for all the effort that you put into bringing up this show to a standard like I don't know we've ever had a show like this before. So this has been wonderful.
It's been my pleasure to be a part of it. Any time I can hang out with Mark, it's a pleasure, and I've been wanting to get a chance to meet and talk with you two for a long time. So another thing I can chalk up off the to-do list, the must-do to-do list of mine, and so this was a great Sunday evening for sure.
We got a lot, I think all of us checked off on our bucket list tonight for sure. And I tell you what, it's just going to get nothing more but more interesting, more intense, and I think probably eventually more rewarding as we all go forward with faith and with a community of people in this paranormal field. I think you're right. We need to gather together during this special time of the year and go forward into 2021 with some positivity. So thank you for being my guest tonight.
You're welcome. My pleasure, sir.
All righty. Well, folks, we are going to wrap up here on Spaced Out Sunday, and we will be back with more after this break. Actually, this is not a break. This is the end of the show, but we're going to be back next week. So we'll see you next Sunday night.
This man had a dark little pond. People came from miles around through their afternoon to see how deep the hole was, and then listen for its beginning. Then that fateful day they forced me off of the land. They came on sent down under with a plan. They had metal and covered it up so never could be found. So no one ever knows what's deep down in God's ground. Yippee-yi-yi.
Well, I want to remind everyone that Mr. Ron Bumblefoot Thal is the official music of Spaced Out Radio, rocking us in and out of every show. You can find out more information at bumblefoot.com. A special thanks to everyone listening in at home and in your car, at work, and in the chat rooms, wherever you are around the world. Remember, this show is currently copyrighted by Spaced Out Radio and SOR Media Ventures Limited. Thanks for sharing your evening with us, because together, my friends, we own the night. Good night, everyone. We'll see you next Sunday.